All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies. We are live to another. I don't know. I just do this for hoots and giggles, y'all. Let's see who's in here. Oh man, Shooting Gallery New England's in here. Man, we got some company in here now. Flying Rich is in here. I love that movie, Flying Rich, by the way. And B Noise is in here. Nice. Everyone, please hit the thumbs up. Let's get it out there to the masses. Shooting Gallery New England. What do you use for a camera when you do your videos? I want to know. What do you use for your camera? Do you just use like your cell phone, GoPro? What are you using? Flying Rich, what do you use for your camera also? Again, welcome to the chat. We have a really cool guest on tonight. He's finishing up his other live stream, so it's going to be a minute. He's a popular guy, very popular guy. So let's see. Everyone in the chat, please hit the thumbs up and share this video on your social media. I'd really appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate that too. So Shooting Gallery New England uses the Luminix G7 from Panasonic. I like that one. I almost bought it, but I got such a deal. I picked up this Sony, was it the A6400? I got this at such a good deal. Man, I couldn't pass it up. Like I got this like $300 off MSRP. So man, but I was trying to use it as my webcam tonight and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So that's something for another day. Let's see who else is in here. Deadly D, what's up, man? What's going on? Robert's in here. What's up, Robert? Santi TV, one of my favorite people. When are we gonna shoot, Santi? Come on now. When can I be in the cool kids club and come shoot with you and your hubby at the range? I got to meet that guy. He seems like a really cool cat. What was your first choice? Oh, the Sony was your second choice. Yeah, I see. I like it. If I hadn't got such a good deal on it. Brandon, what's up, buddy? Oh, I know. I need to get an audio mic because I noticed when I film with this camera, I was shooting some night vision stuff not too long ago. The wind, if there's any kind of wind, it's unusable. Like when I did that video when I went to the range in Austin, Texas, it was unusable. I had a lot of feed go through here and I just couldn't use it. I had to throw out a lot of that video. That and C6 was making his comments nonstop. I had to delete a bunch of that stuff. Oh man, you're in Austin this weekend. You should go to the range at Austin. That's a trip. If you've never been there, that place is pretty cool. Kyle, I did score some ammo this weekend. I got 3 boxes of what was that? Federal 308 for $18.99 at Walmart. For some reason, the Walmart by my house had 308, so I bought it. What's up? This is Dustin Stegall. I'm on my computer. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, I have a whole blooper reel, Mike. So C6 is one of the gentlemen that went with me to Austin for that. And I got a whole blooper reel that was just outrageous. We couldn't stop laughing. And it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. So I had to cut so much of that, but I saved it. So I'm going to put a blooper reel together and I'm going to release it. I'm going to do a join button. And when I do the join button, whoever joins it, they're going to have access to a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I'm going to post a bunch of blooper reels, some off the wall, just, things that I can't normally put on YouTube. I'm going to put them on the blooper reel. So that should be pretty cool. Oh, look at that. B-Noise says the Walmart here in Pasadena has several calibers now too. So everyone in the chat, I know none of us shop at Walmart, but if you do shop at Walmart, have you been seeing different calibers out there? Because I was stunned to see 308. Absolutely stunned to see it. Usually it's just shotgun and 22. Man, look at that. Guardian said they had 6.5 Creedmoor. So that's interesting because Walmarts in Houston, especially, have stopped selling ammo. Hold on, let me turn my. There we go. Now you can see my shiny head. Walmarts in Houston have stopped selling ammo other than shotgun and 22 for the longest time. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're going to start selling ammo again? That would be great. Maybe they see how much money everyone else is making and they want to get back in on it. All right. Shooting Gallery's working on a GST-9 versus OEM Gen 4 Glock frame video at the moment. Man, you know what? I got to get all these videos edited. I have like 10 videos. I keep filming all this stuff, but I have no time to edit it. So that's this weekend. I'm going to really sit down and edit all these videos. I got tons of content and I just haven't had time to go through it. No new setup. I couldn't get my camera to work, Finesse, but I'm working on it. I need to find a good IT to come help me out. Robert says nothing in Philly. Guardian says 350 Legend at the Walmart. What was the price on that? Do you know the price? Do you remember? Shotgun and 22 in Indiana. 12 gauge and 22. Santia says that she's going to have to stop by Walmart if they have 6.5 Creedmoor. I wonder if it's just select Walmarts because, you know, Walmarts that are out in the sticks, I think they kept selling ammo. But any Walmart within like city limits, they kind of toned that down quite a bit because, I don't know, it's so dangerous to sell ammo in the city, which is ridiculous. Wow. Hey, if it's under 20 bucks, that's a good deal. 350 Legend for under 20. It's not too bad. I'll pick that up. I don't have a 350 Legend or a 6.5 or anything. Not yet. I'm still working on it. Shooting Gallery says, same man. I run into Chales, the other channel, and I like 4 videos having touched it. Yeah, I know. It's anybody that doesn't do YouTube, Santi, you do a lot of one takes, which is awesome. I wish I could do one takes. But Santi will tell you too, like the more quality you want your video, the more takes, the more editing you have to do. You got to start throwing in fancy stuff, you know, pay attention to your transitions, look at your video as a whole after you edit it and then cut out the fat. Because, you know, YouTubers want to get at least 8 minutes of a video. You know, you want to shoot for at least 8 minutes and it's hard because sometimes you got like a minute and a half of just dud and you cut it and make the video better or you leave it in and try and get your 8. It's not worth it though. It's not worth it. David Phillips. Whoa, hold on. Robert says 23 years in IT and always willing to help a 2A'er. All right, Robert, we need to hang out. You got to send me some emails, buddy. Because I had some IT support. I married IT support, but she doesn't work on the weekends. David Phillips picked up 4 boxes of 300 Blackout Steel for $14.99 at Academy today. Yeah, but it's steel. You know, honestly, David, I shoot steel all the time. I have no problem shooting steel. And it's fine. C6 says, where's the 10 millimeter? I wish, man. You know, I was at Trinity Armory, which I made a video, still not uploaded. I was at Trinity Armory and they had a sweet 10 millimeter pistol in there. I don't remember what it was. It was a 1911. I want to say it was like a crazy off brand, but it was $2,000. And I just don't have the money for it. I wish I did, or it would be in my pocket. Oh, David. Hey man, that's cool. You bought it for a friend. Tell you what, if you find any 10 millimeter brass, let me know. I heard that MagTech over at Carter's Country. Carter Country has MagTech 10 millimeter for like 22 bucks. So if you need 10 mil, that's the place to go. It's a 2-box limit though. So if you go over there, if you're only in the neighborhood, it's worth it. If not, it's not worth it. Let's see what else is going on. Who else is in the chat? Let's play 20 questions. The next 3 questions, I'll answer 100% honest. Ask away. Doesn't matter what it is. It's dangerous. SR 1911 from Ruger. You know, I had an SR 1911 in 45. It was a cool gun. But if I'm going to spend, you know, I made the mistake of shooting a really high dollar 1911. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that, buddy. Once you shoot a super high dollar 1911, it's hard to go back to something with slop in the slide, that jiggles and jaggles, and it's tough. So I think the next 1911 I get, I'm going to really save up and try hard to get something, you know, worthwhile that'll last forever. I can pass down to my kids. That'll just always hold its value. Haven't seen any ammo for 454 Casull. I saw it a few weeks ago at Academy. I saw it maybe right before I got my job. So that was, God, about a month ago, 4 months ago, 4 weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Oh, Boss Hog, what's up, man? Let's see. Let's do a everyday carry check. What do you guys carry every day? I carry an XDM Elite 3.8 9mm. That's my gun. Juice, I love comic books, as you can tell. I mean, honestly, if you looked around my office, I'm comicked out. But I can't buy any of the new stuff. I just don't like it. Any of the new comics the last couple of years is just trash. Yep, that'd be cool. All right, B-Noise carries a G3C. Juice carries a P365. Glock 19. Richard, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the chat. James, Glock 19. Robert carries a Shield 45. 2.0 Performance Center. Man, that's a nice gun. Let's see. 20 questions. 19X or 43X? I'm not a Glock person. I know I get a lot of heat over that. I like Glocks. I appreciate them. I like the 43X. I think it's great. I know the Glock has evolved a lot over the last couple years where their grips are actually pretty not so blocky. I always say that Glocks are kind of like the Minecraft of guns, just kind of blocky. Heads up on what, buddy? Security 9, that's a great pistol. I love the Security 9. Switch between G19 and G20, those are good pistols. Good. All right, so the first question comes from David. What have you bought and hid from your wife? Shucks. The last thing I bought that I hid from my wife was something I can't say yet because it's not out, but it's really cool. Before that, it was, what was it? Oh, the Ruger SR22. I bought that and I haven't told her yet. Robert says, right there with you, respect Glocks, just not into them. Exactly. I like them. I appreciate all guns. Heck, even like the cheap high points. I shot a 9mm high point. Was it great? No. Did it go bang each time you pull the trigger? Absolutely. So it's good in my book. Kevin Dior says, Fox News has a documentary about the gun grab from Hurricane Katrina. Yeah. He says, I laugh when people say they won't come for your guns. They will come for your guns. And the problem with that is it's funny, because a lot of people in the military, they get very 2A and self-righteous when they get out of the military. When they're in, they're yes, sir, no, sir. They just do what they're told. They're kind of mindless robots. And it's not their problem. It's not any fault of their own. It's just they're very good at training these soldiers to do what they're told. So will soldiers go door to door? Yes, they will. But usually when they get out of, I liken it to like when I left California. When I was in California, you're just fed negative stereotypes. Republicans are bad, conservatives are evil. And I was a hardcore leftist whack job when I lived there. When I got to Texas and I got out of that echo chamber, my eyes opened up. So yeah, the soldiers will, once they get out of that echo chamber of the service, they will be on your side. But before that, it's 50-50. All right, next question. I like 365. I love the SIG 365. My neighbor let me borrow one, and I'm not giving it back. I'm just going to buy it from him. I know he has two, so I'm buying this one. It's pretty cool. I like it. Minecraft for life. Glocks are very dependable. Really? I got someone in the chat that would probably dispute that. C6 has had nothing but problems with his, what is that, a Glock 19? Constantly jamming on him. Let's see. Next question. Deadly D says, I don't carry anything, but if I did, it would probably be the Beretta PX4. Whoa. You don't carry anything. I know you're joking. You have to be joking. All right. Juice has a second question. How many guns do I own? 14 at the moment. 14. Very good question. I'm going to do a gun collection video right before I go out on the boat, and then I'm probably going to lose them all. I'm pretty sure. I'm not a very good rower. All right. Nice. I'll definitely hit you up. Frank is own 5, never problem. You know what? I had, Glocks don't pass the limp wrist test. And you know what's funny? The firearms guy does this thing every time he reviews a gun. If you've never watched the firearms guy YouTube channel, I highly suggest to do it. Great channel, great reviews, super thorough, to the point, no BS. The firearms guy, awesome channel. But he does a limp wrist test where he takes a pistol and he kind of limp wrists it and shoots it. And if it passed that test, it's great. So my wife, has small hands, and I got her a Glock 19. She shot it and it would constantly jam. I mean, constantly jam on her, like every second shot, because, she just couldn't grip it right because it was just too clunky. So I don't know. If a gun doesn't pass a limp wrist test, I don't want it. Because what if I don't grab it just perfect out of the holster and I shoot it kind of awkward? I don't want it to jam. Robert says, what's up? Have you shot a sub 2000? Yeah, I love them. If they weren't so stupid expensive right now, I would get one, because they're selling for like $80 over MSRP. Nah. When they come back down to reality, I'm going to get one. Yeah, super fun guns. Kevin Doors likes Turkish women. That's his fetish. Oh, I'm sorry, Turkish guns. Oh, Richard stuck in the UK. Oh, man. Is that by choice? After living in a free state of Texas, I don't even want to go near California. Like, I don't go. If I can't carry my gun, I don't go there. Like, I took a flight to go to the IV-88 event, and I regretted it so bad. I can't. It's like my car keys. It's like your phone. You leave your house without your gun, I'm lost without it. Yeah, they are fun. So here goes. C6 says he has a G34 Gen 5, brand new, 100% failure to feed. And he sent me pictures too. I mean, it jams every single time. How many types of ammo did you try in that? Of all the things you shot, what was your favorite and gun you had the most fun shooting? Of all the guns I've shot, which is my favorite? You know, this sounds crazy. I shot a lot of full auto stuff, but my favorite gun I've ever shot was from the movie Shooter. It was the EDM 50. That's the gun he was shooting. It's called the EDM 50. A buddy of mine in California, they do a 50 cal shooting club every day, every like second Tuesday every second Sunday at the Angeles Forest, where all these 50 cal guys get together. And we were shooting at the side of this mountain, like 850 yards away. And he had the incendiary rounds, and we would shoot, and it would just like spark up. That was the most fun because there was about a 2 second, almost 2.5 second between you pull the trigger and it hits the mountain. And what was crazy is that he pulled the trigger, unscrewed the barrel, and it's already collapsing it because it slid in together, and was putting it in the suitcase by the time it hit the wall. Awesome gun, man. That was pretty cool. The Mutant at the IV88 was cool. That full auto from CMMG. That was pretty sweet. What's up, everyone? Please push a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like me. Well, if you don't want to, you're probably not going to like me. Shooting Gary lives in MA. God. Joe, what's up, buddy? What's a good pocket holster for concealed carry? I wouldn't go too small for that. So I just did the review of the LCP Max. It fits in my pocket just fine. I don't think it would fit in a girl's pocket, but I have big pockets. I think that if you put that in a sticky holster, shout out to Sticky Holster. Love those guys. If you put LCP Max in a sticky holster, that would probably be the best pocket gun because it would hold 10 rounds of 380, which is pretty solid. I think they even sell 12 round mags for that too, so you could have 12 plus 1 in the chamber, 380 in your pocket. Sounds good to me all day, and it's not too big. Yeah, look at that. So he had all those jams: 115, 124, all brass, 200 rounds totals, no change. He's sending it back to Glock. Look at that. So we actually have an anti-Glock. Oh, man. I don't know. I like Glock. I appreciate them. They're a cool company. Shooting a 50 is pretty nuts, J Chill. I'm telling you, it's nuts. I love it. What's up, Dwayne? I love that name, Dwayne. Any of you old timers out there will notice there used to be a show called A Different World, and there was always Dwayne Wayne. I wanted to be just like him. I used to have a pair of broken glasses I would flip up because I thought I was so cool. I want to be just like Dwayne Wayne. Nobody will get that reference. I don't think anybody's probably watched that show. Is 1,000 rounds excessive for average gun owner? No. Absolutely not. Santi, if you're just getting into guns the last couple years, you're going to have a lot of people, especially relatives on the East and West Coast, that are going to be like, why do you need so many bullets? Why do you need so many magazines? You know what? Stay out of my business. It's because I can. It's our God-given right to own guns. That's why. I think 1K per gun is pretty good, but I would just shoot for as much as I can. I mean, as much as you can. Because I don't think, honestly, let's talk about ammo prices for a minute before I guess Hank Strange is running long in his stream. He had 4 people in there, and they were getting hot and heavy for a minute. So it might be a while, folks. So let's talk about ammo prices. I don't think, my personal opinion, I don't think ammo prices are coming down anytime in the near future. You see it, some gun stores, Academy, the ammo's starting to pile up a little bit. But as far as the prices, I think it's going to come down. You got about 2 months. It's gonna probably level off, and it's gonna start coming down a little bit. Maybe by Christmas you'll be able to get 9mm at like $14-15 a box. But now that the secret's out and they know that we're gonna pay these crazy prices, why should they lower their prices? I mean, it just makes sense. Plus, hyperinflation's around the corner. All right, let's see. Oh, Robert, thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate that. Hey, all the money I get goes right back into the channel. All right, now we're ready. We're ready. This is a treat for me. Try not to fanboy out here. Try not to fanboy out. So let's introduce, everyone give a nice round of welcome to the one, the only.
What's up?
Hank Strange.
What's going on, man?
What's up, buddy?
Chilling.
Man, chat tonight was just zooming.
Yeah, that was a crazy show.
Yeah, I never knew that much about night vision, man. There's quite a bit to it.
Yeah, I don't know if I even I don't know if I absorbed 25% of that, but I'll take it.
Yeah, there was quite a bit going on in that.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to tell you, last night's live stream, and I've watched a bunch of your stuff, but that 2A guy, I saw him at the IV88 event, and he is so hardcore.
Yeah.
That was a great live stream.
Yeah, man, he's a good guy. I enjoyed that as well, man. Lola passed on your kind words about that. Yeah, I agree with you. It was a really good show.
I got to tell you, I don't think I've seen one of your shows where I could not. I even rewound it a few times because I thought I might miss something.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Like I was all into it. I was like, did I miss something? Did I miss something? I watched it twice today.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah,
okay.
It was awesome. What
was the big thing in there that you liked? What was?
Well, honestly, because your live stream is so, it could go anywhere. I mean, you could be talking about naked women on Mars 1 minute, and it could be talking about 2A. Yeah. I mean, it's all over the place.
We don't have
I love
a plan.
it. I dig it. It's crazy. It's my kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But last night stayed pretty on topic, and then we got to learn a lot about you and where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool. A lot of people don't know where you're from. They just think you're a hardcore, gun nut like the rest of us.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I am. I always feel like maybe people know that already, but you're right.
I thought you were from New York, born and raised.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, if for folks who watch the show, we talk about it from time to time. A lot of times, the folks that really know that, like Walter or Babyface on the show, they make fun of me because they're like, "Oh, you're from so many places. This is crazy," But it's true. Yeah,
they're just not traveled enough yet,
huh?
They're just not traveled. They don't have your repertoire of places they've been.
Walter travels a lot, man. He went to the 75th D-Day celebrations and stuff like that. But my story of me getting here to a lot of people probably is like a crazy thing, if you think about it, because I pretty much traveled all over the world by the time I was 12 years old.
Really? Were you like a military brat?
No, my dad was a college professor, but he in Guyana, where I was born, my dad was in charge of infrastructure, and they have a lot of Guyana has, I think, the most waterfalls out of any country. I think it's called the land of 1,000 waterfalls. It has some of the most amazing. It's in South America, 75% Amazon jungle. So he was supposed to be in charge of building up hydroelectric power dams and things like that. And the government sent him to England to get his master's degree from Brunel. And then when that happened, and so we all wound up going over there to live with him, which usually doesn't happen, but we wound up over there. And then after that, he didn't want to go back to Guyana, and England basically kicked him out, or kicked us out, told us we had to leave. So we wound up going to Nigeria, and then he became a college professor, or he worked for Polytechnic University in Kaduna in Nigeria. And how
old were you when you were in Nigeria?
So I left Guyana when I was 5, and we lived in England from 5 to 8, and then we lived in Nigeria from 8 to 11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so at around 11, I came to live in America, and then I've traveled since I've been here and stuff like that.
Oh, did you get a bunch of hate when you were here? Like, who's this new kid?
Oh yeah, man. I had a British accent when I came to live in America, so
Well, that
I
helps
was
with the ladies. Does help with the
it
ladies.
helps with the ladies, does not help with their boyfriends.
No,
So
yeah,
yeah, I
that's
got beaten
always a
up a
bad.
lot.
That's
Yeah,
a
and I
bad
was
mix.
skinny. Believe it or not, it doesn't look like that now, but I was a skinny kid when I came here, and I was very young. Um so and what I mean by that is like when I came and they tested me at 11, they said that I should be in high school. And my mom was like, well, he's a little bit too young. And then they were going to put me in the same grade as my brother that's about a year and a half older than me, and she didn't want that, which I think is wise. So she
That's
put
very
me,
wise.
yeah, she put me at the end of junior high school, but I went into high school when I was 12 years old.
Wow. It's a
So
fact that kids that skip grades that are really smart, they don't do well socially in high school if they're that young
mhm,
because
mhm,
they're just not mature yet. And the boys that
yeah,
start later do much better.
right. I
They're-
100% agree with that, and I wanted that for my kids. Um, and with me, I think I went through a lot of that, but I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think I'm a more social kind of person. And so I know for my brother, it was tougher because he was basically going through the same thing. He was very young, going into high school and dealing with all that stuff, and then a new country, New York City,
Oh, his
crack
accent must have been
80s.
pretty thick.
Um,
If he was like 13, he probably had a pretty thick British accent.
yeah, I think, I think for sure we all had that. I think even my sister was born in England, but she was maybe 6 months old when we left. So she doesn't. She never had that. But yeah, from the boys, we had that, and I had it for a long time. All the way when I meet people I went to high school with, they're like, "What the hell happened to your British accent?" So it was pretty deep, because basically at 5 years old, going to England, you at that age you pick it up, So it held over all the way through high school. But by the time coming out of high school and then living in America here, since I think we came to America to live in 1983. Eventually, that's going away. At that age, it
Yeah.
comes back. I can hear myself slipping into a British accent every now and then. And if I have a lot of relatives in England, if I ever see those folks or anyone from England, I hang out with them long enough, I start talking like that again.
I know it's childish, but
Hmm.
like when I was in Spain for a little bit, we ran into a bunch of Brits, and
Hmm.
I always try anytime I meet someone from the UK or
Hmm.
England, I always try and get them to say Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Harry Potter. Yeah.
So
I mean,
I was in Spain. I ran into this
uh-huh.
whole group of hooligans, and this one girl, and her accent was thick. And I go, "What's
Right.
that one movie, with that kid Radcliffe?" She goes, "Oh, well, Harry Potter."
Yeah. Harry Potter.
Made my whole night.
Yeah.
Made my whole night.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm done. Shots on me. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a nephew that he was visiting, and I would just he said this one line and I made fun of him the whole time. He would say, "Mummy, can I have a glass of water?" And I was just knocking him every single time with it. But listen, if you like, I wish I still had my British accent on demand, because it's like now that's the only thing people respect. All
Right.
the British people are like Brits are in all the movies. They're all the superheroes, even though they have American accents. you
Right.
know so if you hear a British accent, people automatically think you're awesome or something.
He must be
um
really smart.
yeah, yeah. The funny thing is, whenever I would go back to England, so I remember I think the last time I actually went back to England was 92, and I remember going back there, and I'd started whatever my American or New York accent is, and man, I was slaying the ladies over there. The grass is always greener on the other
Oh yeah.
side. Yeah, they love
100%.
the American accent. So
Wow, that's a trip. Because I have
yeah.
friends that come here from Germany. I do logistics for a lot of German companies
Hmm.
before, and they
Hmm.
would come here, and that accent they would just
Yeah,
destroy.
yeah. Just lady. Yeah, everyone's like that. I'm like that. I like ladies with a British accent too. I like a woman with any accent. That's
For
that's
me,
different
it's
from mine.
Aussie
Aussie. You know what's my? This is a secret. Don't tell anyone this.
that gets
I
me.
like I like a woman with a country accent, man. That's nice.
Wow, you need to come hang out in Texas more.
I mean, I live in Florida, but yeah, I remember. Oh, by the way, Richard Mondo, I see he says Harry Potter the Tosser. That's from Richard Monder, and who is in England. I remember I was where did I go? I went to the Gundies in Texas, and there's that YouTube chick. She's super cute, but I cannot remember her name right now. And she started off her channel doing the canoodling or something. You know, you catch the fish.
Oh,
Who am I
know
talking about?
she's from Alabama or something.
That is one of the cutest women on the face of this planet.
She is such a
Yeah.
sweet girl.
Yeah, she's so nice,
Like,
but she
she's
has
so
a great
sweet to her
accent.
dad. What's
Yeah.
her name? That's gonna drive me up the
Yeah,
wall.
someone out there knows who I'm talking about. She has like a great, like she's kryptonite.
She hunts,
dudes.
shoots, works out. She can deadlift more than my fat butt. So I mean, she's ridiculous.
She's man, I cannot remember her name right now. I hope someone will tell us, but she's a complete pack, and she's doing gun stuff now. I think she won like the crossover.
Hannah Barron.
Yes, Hannah Barron. She is very attractive.
Thank you, Kirsten.
You know, all of that kind of stuff, and so nice, and happy and friendly or whatever. So
she's so sweet to her dad too.
Yeah,
like I watch it out of just like they were redoing their porch. Well, I don't care about porches, but I'll watch it because she's like telling her dad. She's talking polite smack, country smack to her dad. It was great. So everybody in the chat, Mr. Hank Strange is a God. You're probably one of the original gun tubers.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean you were there 8 years ago.
Yeah, 8 years, but the original gun guys, like the old school gun guys, were here probably 12, 13 years ago.
All right, so let me rephrase that. He's probably the one of the original gun guys that people still care about.
No, that's not true. There's a lot of big gun guys.
Well, besides Hickok.
Yeah, Hickok is a big gun guy that was doing it for a long time. You got Military Arms Channel, a rock veteran, you know, that are still with us. Gun Blast passed, unfortunately, but he was cool, and that's one of the early.
Yeah, that guy was really cool. I think his kids are trying to keep it alive.
Yeah, his brother. Yeah, his brother is doing. He's got two brothers that I know of. He might have more than that, but yeah, Bogue, and I'm trying to remember is it Bo and Bogue? They've got names like that, but they're good dudes also.
Triple H, thank you so much for the $5. That will go right back into the next meet and greet, second week of September at Trinity Armory. It's going to be awesome. So I just finished up a meet, and it was so funny because, you know, my listeners local, they're just average gun guys. They're not tactical. They're fathers, people. I mean, they're just regular.
Like the rest of us. Yeah.
Regular gun people.
I'm definitely not tactical.
No, so they showed up. I had about 20 people show up, and then the range we were at, Renaissance Gun Range, fantastic range, by the way. Okay, you guys are shooting 2 stages of steel, and none of us had holsters really. And we were like, we're doing what? And we shot these 2 stages, had the best time of our life. And now but none of us had any experience doing it. And I just really dig that. I love this channel, and what I do it's really selfish. It's for me. So I can hang out with cool, average gun people. They're my people, man. I love these guys. I have a blast.
For the most part, gun folks out there are good people. You know,
I've met very few. Yeah, very few. At the IV88, I met everyone was outrageously nice.
I would say 99.9% of the gun folks out there are cool.
I met one negative Nancy there, and I didn't want to hang out with him.
Oh, really? Can we talk about that? We can't talk about that.
I don't remember his name. I don't look, if you want to hang out with eagles, you can hang out with ducks. You want to fly with the eagles? As soon as I run into a duck, see you later, buddy. I turn around and go the other way.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, better off just doing your thing. You know, there's way too many cool people out in the world. You know,
100%. I don't have time for that. There's too much negativity. So let's talk about, how did you get into guns? So you're in New York. You're a little kid. When did you pick up your first gun?
My first real gun. Talk about real. I've always been into guns. I mean, I think it's genetically programmed in me. I noticed my sons, I've got 2 boys, and they were like that also. We never pushed them in the direction of guns. Like, you take your kids to buy toys. Remember in the olden days, us old people had this thing called Toys R Us we took our kids to.
Oh man,
you might not know about that
so much.
Yeah, but my kids would go right for the guns, and I was like that also when I was a kid. So my dad, being an engineer, always had Popular Mechanics, Popular Science magazines around, and we just loved anything that had to do with guns. TV shows, we made guns out of paper, Legos, this thing called plasticine, which is like a modeling clay. We just
Right.
always made our own guns, and we made like as functioning as we could make them. But to answer your question, um, my I think I remember the first, like, or at least one of the, it was New York City. So I grew up in New York City. I graduated high school in 1988. So I grew up in the crack era in New York City. You know, I grew up in Far Rockaway, New York. Far Rockaway, New York is John Gotti's territory, or was
Oh
John
man.
Gotti's territory. So that's like where I grew up and what was going on. So there were a lot of guns around me. One of the first ones I remember was like my cousin had some kind of 1911, you know. I Because most of my cousins were bad boys, and some of them became cops too, which is what usually happens, especially in places like New York City. So I remember like handling guns and stuff like that all the time, man, just all the time. Before I graduated high school, all of that stuff. With all the laws have always been in effect in New York, but they were always guns around. So I remember one time, a friend of mine was messing around with this. This is a complicated story. He's messing around with this girl who her boyfriend was in prison. This happens a lot in New York City. And I went over there to hang out with him, and the boyfriend had a 1911. And I remember playing around with it and taking that thing apart, and we couldn't put it back together.
Oh man, you know it's funny. When I got my very first 1911, I took it apart and I couldn't put it back together. I took it back to the shop in a box, and they were laughing their butt off.
That thing is, if you don't know what you're doing, we eventually did it. It took us
I couldn't
hours.
get
We were
that
scared.
stupid thing on the barrel to
Yeah.
slide in. I couldn't do it. And the guy was literally looking me in the eye as he put it together.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
He was like, "This guy's an idiot." But
Yeah.
but you don't know. We were so scared. We were like, this, because even the girl was like, "What the hell did you do?" Because the boyfriend at some point is coming back from prison, and he's gonna
Right.
know somebody was over there because the gun is in pieces. We eventually, I don't know, man. We eventually figured it out. But I'm just like that. It's just like I've always been attracted to guns. So, my first legal dalliance with guns came when we moved from New York. We lived in New Jersey, and it's kind of, obviously it's tough to do stuff in New Jersey. I thought it would be easier than New York. It wasn't. So we moved to Florida, and the big reason I moved was so that I can actually like start buying these things and training and doing stuff, and not have to be in the shadows with whatever I was doing. So I think my first gun that I bought would be, to answer your question, technically would be a I believe it was a 1911. It was a double stack 1911, but I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea of a regular single stack 1911. So I had to do double stack, and then I didn't like that. I didn't like the double stack 1911 that much either.
That's interesting, because I had a love-hate relationship with the 1911 for a little while. And now I think it's a work of art. It's so,
I love 1911s. Yeah, they're cool. But the thing is, it just wasn't. It's not like, and I have one now. I have like one of the first polymer production 1911s. I think ATI. Remember ATI made a.
I didn't even know they made a polymer 1911.
Yeah, they were one of the first people to do that, and I have one of those, which I think. That's
pretty
stack?
cool.
I can't remember. Yeah, it's probably single stack or something. But very quickly, like, I realized Glock was for me, and I got a Glock 19. And even though I have a lot of other different handguns, like, Glocks were really the first handguns, like, where I said, "Oh, this is it. This is like everything you need." So,
well, they came out in the 80s, right? And they just dominated.
Yeah.
They absolutely dominated, and Glock was everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I like them. I appreciate them, but I've owned two, and I sold them both.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. My wife had a 19, and it jammed on her every time because she couldn't.
Really?
Hold it. It was just too big. The grip was too
Okay.
big, and it would just jam. And
Yeah.
it's useless to her. And it just didn't feel right, because I think guns are like shoes. You try them all, and whatever fits, just
naturally, yes, naturally it should fit you. If you have to do a bunch of training and all that kind of stuff for it, I say don't do it. But I've always liked Glocks. I still think Glocks are great. I have a ton of them. But what's happening to me now is I'm looking for something different. I think that, like a lot of people, Glock. I mean, really, why would they have to make big changes? They're making so much money from everything that they make, because really it is kind of like the universal gun. So it might not be for you or for your wife, but there's so many folks out there, me included. I wouldn't get rid of my Glocks, right? And I probably have like 10 of them. I have all the 9mm ones, and I carry for a long time I've been carrying a Glock 43 on me all the time, because I believe, you should always carry.
Right.
So, but I'm looking for an alternative, and I think that that's where Glock runs into a thing where, after you've been doing this for a long time, it's kind of getting like, okay, come on, can you guys
change it up?
Yeah, can you change this up a little bit? Can you
Plus,
push the limits a little?
I feel there's a lot of guns coming out that are cheaper, and honestly, that PSA dagger, I want to shoot one of those so bad, because $300, it's pretty much a Glock 19 with a better grip, and that was my only hang up with the Glock 19, is I didn't like the grip. So if you could get rid of that, that's a gun for $300. That's bananas. That's crazy.
The grip is the big thing with it that everyone gets. So you like a 1911 style grip, right?
Yeah, I carry. I've always carried an XD or XDM. I love Springfield Armory. It's like I don't know. It was the first pistol I ever bought, was a 40 cal XD. I'm very brand loyal.
So I think Springfields are too blocky for me.
From a Glock guy, that sounds insane to me.
I think they're too blocky. Also, I just don't like. There's a little bunch of things I don't like about Springfield.
I heard
I've had them in the past.
Before I really got kind of butt deep into guns, I heard there was like some political ramifications of Springfield. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know the story behind it. I know they said
they've done some things. Yeah, Springfield was trying to carve out special treatment for themselves, so they were making deals under the table where it would be anti-gun stuff, and it would hurt other gun companies and smaller companies and stores, but they would get carve-outs for themselves, and that was kind of bad.
That's so shady. And didn't the guy come out and do like an apology video?
They did a lot of stuff in that direction.
That.
I don't.
The president came out and started apologizing, and
yeah. And look, I wouldn't knock you for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think you do become brand loyal, like you said. It happens to everyone, right? So if you were into Springfield and this wasn't happening, and you got into it and you invested into it, I can't knock anyone for it. But for that reason, I just have a thing. It just irks me that they did that, because it's detrimental overall to the whole industry and this thing that you're doing, to even consider that, you know? And to me, it just seems like a betrayal. But I think, yes, they did apologize. They are trying to come out of that. And, it's like, I didn't want to do a video on the Hellcat.
Guns. They make some really good guns.
Cool stuff. Yeah, I didn't want to do a video on the Hellcat. People forced me into it eventually. Eventually, I got tired of people asking me about the Hellcat, and I was like, okay, screw it. I'll get one of these and do a video and then get rid of it, which is what I did. And it was cool.
Let me tell you. So I got the RDP, and I reviewed the RDP, the Hellcat RDP. And
is that
the one with the little suppressor thing and the sight? So I had that, and I was comparing it against the 365. And I was having people blind shoot it, and I didn't like it. It's not for me. I like the 365 better, and honestly, I like a lot of pistols in that size a lot better than the RDP or just the Hellcat. I don't understand why, because like I'm balls deep Springfield, but I didn't like it. And I'm going to say it in the video. I didn't like it. It's not for me.
Yeah, I don't think every gun's made for everyone. I like the idea of a 365, and we have one. Lola likes it. I don't. And I think it's a good gun. I just think it doesn't fit my hands. And every gun's not made for everyone's hands. And a lot of these slimline handguns are really being made for women's hands. So that's why I'm still with a Glock 43. I am going to be transitioning into something else. I'm just taking my time.
Oh, what are you trying out?
I'm in the process of switching over to a Walther PPS. I have a
Ooh,
PPS M2, but I'm going slow because I like to do that. And then two, they sponsor my podcast and everything. And, they don't put any pressure on me, right? But I've been looking at a lot of different guns. I've tried all these different slimline handguns to see what would fit me. And I'm still stuck on the 43. And that honestly was the first thing I came across that I was like, oh, okay, this feels good. I feel like I can go in this direction, but I'm going very slow with it.
nice. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So getting back, so you bought your first gun. It was a 1911. You didn't really
Mhm.
like it a lot. How did you get into the industry itself? Because when you ask about Hank Strange, oh, Hank's that guy
Mhm.
that knows everybody.
Mhm.
Like,
Um,
how did you start out on
yeah,
that path?
unfortunately. Yeah. You know what? I've always been a creative person. That's what I am. So I don't have any military or law enforcement background. I'm an artist, really. That's what I am,
Mhm.
at the core, in lots of different ways, right? So I've always written. I like fantasy, fiction type stuff. So I write things and I have the skills to make movies and all that kind of stuff. Music, I've produced music and done a lot of things like that. I just live in the creative realm. Although I've had regular jobs in the past, that's all I wanted to do. So, and for a long time, I had put a lot of what I wanted to do on the side because, Lola and I were raising our kids. Our boys were younger, and Lola is a pharmacist, and her job has it's kind of like a high demand type of thing. So I was like, okay, I'll step back and help raise the boys. Lola has a lot of input in raising her kids, but I wanted to make sure that I made that investment in my kids when they were young. So as they were starting to get older and approaching getting into high school and all that kind of stuff, I said, you know what, time to do something. And at the same time, I was like starting to do this gun thing seriously.
Mhm.
So I said, the thing I want to do here is share my journey, my adventure of learning about guns with people, uh, and use my skills. So YouTube was the way for me. I've actually had a YouTube account, I think, since like 2003. If you go look at it, it's
Yeah.
2003 or five or something like that.
So about 8 years ago. So when you
Hmm.
do, but it's different because
Hmm.
when you do a gun review, you're like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, this is the guy who invented the gun on your
Hmm.
show. Oh, this is the manufacturer that comes on your show.
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
the head designer. I mean,
Hmm.
not only do you have the gun, you have like someone from the company come on and explain,
Hmm.
which blows me away because that's awesome.
Hmm.
And
That's just because that's just the kind of, I think that's how I am as a person. Anything that I'm into, I want to know. I buy the people behind something versus the thing itself. So
right.
I've always tried to do that. And when I started doing this, I didn't know anyone, so I would buy guns. A lot of times overpay for guns, just because of what I liked. But that was really the thing for me. So I would just start buying guns, making videos, and putting them up there. But the kind of person I am, I wanted to go to the shows. I wanted to go to SHOT Show and NRA and all of that. So I started going there very early and meeting the people and talking to them. Not everyone wants to talk to you. So eventually, my dad always told me, like someone who loves you. So the companies who would actually like talk back to me and tell me things and teach me things and show me stuff, I started realizing that's to me the most
Right.
interesting part of all of this, because now you can find out from these guys, why do you make this thing, why you do it like this, how come you don't make this, why this. So for me, that's the angle I think that I decided to go, more than the angles that other people go. I don't think there's anything wrong with what other folks do, but for me, that's kind of who I am, right? Like growing up in New York and the kind of person I am, I like that kind of interaction. To me
Right.
is really the thing. So I try to do that when you can do that with companies. Some companies just don't give a shit. So
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people too, like a lot of younger YouTubers I see, they just want free stuff. And
hmm.
who doesn't like free stuff? I love free stuff. Give me a
Hmm.
shirt, a hat, I'll wear it. I don't care. But
Right, right.
I do it just for,
Yeah, I'm wearing a free shirt right now, man. I
yeah,
don't
me
I
too.
don't, I don't spend money on shirts,
I got this We the
Yeah,
People deal.
yeah. Brownells,
They make
rocking
pretty
it.
good holsters.
But here's the thing, nothing's free. That's what I found out. It's easier like when you buy things. Now, obviously there are people who send me guns, for T&E. Some people like lend us stuff and then it's got to go back, etc. A few people will actually give you something, but nothing is free. people want you to do something for that, right? So you wind up, it's work. It's not like, so if I buy a gun, which I buy guns all the time, those things get archived a lot of times. There's no pressure to do the stuff with that. That comes out over time. Or a lot of times you'll see other folks who are kind of like in my camp, you'll see them doing videos with it or something like that before I do the video with that. Because the stuff that a company sent, they sent it to you for a reason.
Yeah, I had a company reach out to me and say, hey, if you sign this exclusive thing and represent my product, and I was like, no, I'll review it, but I'm not going to sign my life away. I'm like, you can send it to me. I'll review it. If it sucks, it sucks. I'm going to tell people it sucks.
For sure.
And they still send it to me. So.
Yeah, I would rather not get into a situation like that. I would rather be able to do what I want to do.
100%.
And of course, I think if I would treat a gun the way I treat anything else, you know, if you buy something and something is wrong with it, what's the first thing you do?
I send it back.
Yeah, you send it back. You talk to the company. You're like, hey, maybe it's you, right? So you talk to them like, oh, maybe it's me. I don't understand what I'm doing here. But if they say, oh, well, there's something wrong with it, you send it back, etc. You know, so I think that's reasonable. That's a reasonable thing, because that's the same thing that you would do. But other than that, your opinion of that thing should be allowed to be your opinion of it. You know, now
there's a company called ETS that makes mags, right? I was on Aim Surplus. They had those Glock 33 round for $15. Great, let me get 2 of those. I couldn't load more than like 6 or 7 in them, and they're see-through blue mags, and you can see the spring binding up.
Okay.
Trash. Absolute trash. I sent those suckers right back.
Yeah.
And AIM at first was kind of, well, we got to charge you a restocking fee and you got to ship it back on your own dime. Like, no, you guys sold whack stuff. Send me a packing slip. They did. Shout out to AIM Surplus for taking care of me, but man, that was kind of whack.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that like the responsibility, look, everyone has their rules of doing this. You know, I feel like my responsibility is to my audience, my first responsibility. So after what I think about this thing, you know, I think it's my audience and what they're expecting to get out of me. Now, everyone has different rules with all of that, but ultimately that's who I feel responsible to. So even though I know a lot of people, that's been a lot of work and all that kind of stuff. And I remember when I had to sell guns to get other guns.
Yeah.
So I remember that when I'm making videos, that there's some guy out there, if he really wants this, he's going to have to sell something or work really hard to make the money to buy that thing. And I feel like that's my ultimate responsibility there. And you have to temper that and balance that with, you know, maybe this company, you can help them. They did something wrong here. You can help them. You can make it better. But you have to have a relationship to do that, because a lot of people are just going to get mad. Like if you were making something and you were selling it and someone made a video about it and they're like, this sucks, this is shit or whatever, you'd hate them too, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I could be that harsh on somebody, you know. That's rough.
Well, I think it's how you approach it and how you deal with it. And do you try to talk to those folks, and can you actually there's some companies that they make something and there's a problem with it and people put that out there, okay, and then that company addresses that and fixes it, right? You know, and then there's some other situations where it becomes a war, that now they're mad at the person because the person said something wrong about what they made. But ultimately the responsibility is on you as someone making something to make a better thing.
Right. Okay. So everyone in the chat, if you haven't, please hit the thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I just put Mr. Hank Strange's channel. Now, Hank, you have 2 channels. You have your main channel. Well, which is your main channel now? I mean, you have one with over 100,000 subs.
Right. I've got about 3 channels. I've got 3. I've got about 4 channels.
Because you have the one where you do like the camper stuff too. Yeah.
I have Stranger Palooza, which we do car stuff. It's the automotive, and the big thing on that is the camper van stuff. Like that's what I'm in right now. And that took off because of the camper van situation. And then also YouTube doesn't come down on that so bad. Then I've got the Who Moved My Freedom channel, which is where we do the podcast.
Right.
you know, and the main channel that I started 8 years ago is Hank Strange, and that's the bigger channel, but that's heavily suppressed by YouTube based on what I've been talking about all these years, which is guns and politics surrounding the Second Amendment.
Yeah,
So
you
they're
know, I
not
like to
fans of
think
that.
that YouTube is suppressing my channel because when it first started, it was a rocket ship. I mean, it was like, 12K subs in just 3 4 months. Then
Hmm.
now I'm lucky. Well, I don't. Time has been tough lately, but it's
Hmm.
been really rough. I mean, it's really leveled off quite a bit.
Well, because so when I had 0 subscribers, um, Tim for Military Arm channel, I remember, I am a big fan of what he does, and he was back in those days, he was like around, I don't know, 300,000 subscribers, let's say, right,
Mhm.
or a couple 100,000 subscribers. And when I started talking to him, he was like, "Hey, man, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I'm just starting to, get somewhere with this thing. And it's probably going to be longer for you. You'll be doing this for 8 years before you start getting somewhere." And here we are 8 years later, and he was about right. It's harder as you come in later, So for someone like yourself and a lot of folks who are starting it now, there's good things and bad things. In some ways, coming in now is good because YouTube hasn't put they don't know who you are yet. They haven't put all these red flags and weights on you like they have on some other people, so you can kind of use that to your advantage if you understand what you're doing. But at the same time, it's more difficult because the algorithm is smarter, and if it identifies you as a gun person, it makes it
Right,
so much more difficult for you to overcome that algorithm all the time.
right.
So that's really, I think, what you would be facing. I know it is what I have 116,000 subscribers, man. If I put up a video, even if they allow it to be monetized, which they usually don't if we're shooting guns, even if they allow it to be monetized, I have a tough time getting those videos to get 2 or 3 thousand views.
Oh wow, holy
Yeah,
smokes, that's crazy.
yeah.
I know. I'm thinking about
People
doing a
people think
join
I'm not
button.
even posting videos. A lot of
Yeah,
people I see are like, "Oh, did you stop posting videos?" No, we post videos all the time.
I think I'm gonna do a join button just because doing these videos costs a lot of money, and I do this just for
Hmm.
giggles and my own.
Hmm.
I don't do
Hmm.
YouTube to make money,
Hmm.
but I think because I got so much stuff, so many outtakes, so much off the wall, non-gun related, kind of gun related stuff that
Hmm.
I could put in there. You know, I think I'll probably do a join just for whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
So let me ask you. So you started doing your podcast. Why'd you start doing a podcast? Because you had your main
Uh,
channel,
uh-huh.
and then 3 years ago, let's just start doing interviews.
Yeah, I had other friends who were doing podcasts, and we like shooting guys were the first place that they like invited me on their podcast back in the early days. And I did that several times. And that's when there weren't a lot of people doing it. I think those guys really pioneered. They're not the first guys to do gun podcasts, but I think
Right.
to me they're probably the best at doing it, and they've been consistent and successful at doing it. But for me personally, I jumped in because I felt like the gun community or whatever it is we have going on here as a whole, there were some things with it that I didn't 100% appreciate. I felt there were a lot of things going on where it was like, how can I best put this? It's who you know. What level are you on? People
Right.
don't want to easily let you come in. Maybe you go past them or whatever it was. There was a lot of gates and gatekeepers and things like that going on, and I didn't really appreciate that. It's like my philosophy is if you see something like that, you could do one of two things. You can complain about it and cry about it, or you could go out there and make the thing that you're saying is missing. And so
100%.
that's what I did. I started my podcast, and we didn't care, like, if you came across our radar and we thought you were cool, we'll put you on there. And we've had people on the show that have no subscribers anywhere, that no one knows. And we've had some big names or whatever in the industry. And that's really always what I wanted to do. So we have manufacturers come on, we have regular people come on,
Right.
people who are doing politics, all kinds of stuff. And I wanted to like remove all the gates and the gatekeeping and the barriers and all that, and help a lot of other folks, get out there. And it's because I thought no one's doing this. I don't really see folks doing it for me. So instead of crying about it, I should do it for other people and see where that goes.
So let me tell you how I found your channel. So I
Mhm.
did my first, I think who was on my first, I think it was Tools and Targets. He was the first guest I had.
Okay.
And I was like, I saw this guy Tools. He only had like 400 subscribers, and I really liked his channel. So I did my first YouTube short, like, hey,
Mhm.
everybody go subscribe to this guy.
Mhm.
And he got up to 1,000, and then I had him on the show. But after the show, I was like, man, I bet no one else is doing this. No one else is interviewing gun tubers. And I
Mhm.
gun tuber interview, and then boom,
Mhm.
Hank Strange. And I'm
Mhm.
like, all right, well, he must have just started. Nope, 3 years. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, man.
So who does he have? Everybody. So who's the most famous person you've had on?
The most famous person, we had the guy, oh man, I forgot his name already. We had like a actual, like legit famous, someone's gonna have to remind. He did game shows and everything.
What?
Yeah, he's a conservative guy now. I'm terrible with names, by the way. Someone out there will tell us who it is, but he's a conservative guy who used to host like the Love Connection. Let me see. I'll tell you. When as
Chuck
soon as
Woolery.
Chuck Woolery. Yeah, there you go. Chuck Woolery.
Yeah, Paul.
That's the
Paul Fat B in the chat.
yeah. Yeah.
Santi said Bob Barker.
Yeah, I was thinking I didn't want to say Bob Barker, but that's what I was thinking. But it was Chuck Woolery, and he's legit famous.
Oh yeah, I grew up watching him.
Yeah, he's legit famous. And what he does in his own stuff, he does like a minute or 2 minutes. So when he came on the show, he didn't realize his people didn't make it clear to him that this was 2 hours. And he was like, okay, well, that's not what I do. And I was like, well, let's start and let's do this. And whenever you're tired, you can go and we'll just keep going. And he stayed the whole 2 hours. He was awesome.
No kidding. He's
Yeah.
a big gun guy.
He's a gun guy. He's a conservative guy, yeah, he was a good dude.
Oh man, that's wild. Who was the guest that was the most not underwhelming, but what I'm sure out of 700 and almost 800 shows, you got to have one or two where you're just like, man,
there's a lot of crazy shows. I don't want to put people on blast.
What's one that was just
Because
underwhelming? Like, oh man, who is this guy? What did you ever yell at Lola? Why'd you book this?
No, just sometimes it's crazy. I think here's what I would say about this, right? Because I don't want to blow up people's spot and all that kind of stuff. Because I realize that not everyone is used to this or has a natural skills to do this like you do or I do. So there are a lot of people who think they're really ready for this, and they're like, "Oh yeah, put me on your show. How come you don't put me on your show?" They have nothing, and I'm the kind of person who doesn't. I'm not going to look down on you because you haven't done anything. But at the end of the day, you have no resume that says you have no experience.
Right.
But hey, I'll give you your shot because you might be really good. And there's a lot of people who are really good like that, and it's awesome. But there's always folks who look at what we do and they're like, "This is easy. I got a lot of stuff to say," and then they get on the show and they don't have shit to say. And that's the part where I'm like, "Damn, Lola, what are we doing here? What happened?"
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
have you ever had
don't be that person. Like build your way up. If you don't think you could just do this because you're looking at us doing it,
Yeah. So
yeah.
So you said you're gonna change to the Walther PDP?
Yeah, the Walther. I have the Walther PPS M2.
Oh, PPS.
I have a lot of different Walthers since I'm doing stuff with them, but I like the PPS M2. It fits my hand. It feels good.
Write that down. PPS.
Yeah.
M2.
I've been putting it through paces and stuff like that for a long time. The only problem, and it's very popular with people, but I just actually went through. Like I went to SHOT Show the last time we had SHOT Show, and I walked around the whole show checking out all those slimline handguns. Right, all of them to see like, oh, do I like this? Am I really going to use this versus the Glock? And the PPS was what I was like, okay, this I'll give it a shot. The only problem that I've found with it so far is it doesn't like you know, I have a relationship with Fort Scott Munitions. They
Mhm.
make ammo, and it doesn't like their 9 millimeter.
That's a
So
problem.
yeah, because one of the things about that gun is that the ramp is split, and the Fort Scott stuff is pointy. And we've put Fort Scott through a whole bunch of different guns and didn't have any issues. But with that gun, it has some kind of issue with that, and we've smoothed out the ramp, done all kinds of things, and it really hasn't corrected it. So what that means is I'm not obviously not going to use that, but that, you know, I don't let something like that get in my way. I think
Right.
you should take your time with any gun that you're going to actually carry and make sure that what you're putting in there works. So it works with anything else. We've
Yeah.
put so many other different things through there that they haven't worked. So it doesn't disqualify me. I'm just telling you full disclosure, and that's in videos that we've put out. We just could not get that to run through there. So
Yeah. I had a XD40 that wouldn't shoot hollow points.
mhm.
It just didn't like it.
Yeah,
And anything 124 or higher, it wouldn't shoot. I
yeah.
mean, it was just junk.
Yeah, see, now that might disqualify it if you know that you have to do that. For me, I know I can run different defensive ammo, and I'm not going to disqualify it because it doesn't run the ammo from the company that sponsors me for ammo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's not a disqualifier for me. When we put through everything else through there, it was fine. It's a weird kind of situation. I even sent it to them for them to look at it, and they couldn't do anything with it. But I think that's at the end of the day, that's just what it is.
All right, let's check the chat. We have
Mhm.
Jackie, Flying Rich. God, Flying Rich again. This guy, he's everywhere.
Yeah, Rich said he
Flying
was
Rich
there.
gets around. He gets around. He's
Yeah,
pretty
he gets
easy.
around, man. Yeah,
He,
man. That
you give him a
yeah,
cheeseburger and he's
yeah.
there.
He's a whore. No, I'm just kidding. My boy, Flying Rich is my boy, man.
Special
You know,
K, what's
yeah,
up?
he's a
Carlos
he's
Fernandez from Puerto Rico.
yeah,
God, I love Puerto Rico.
yeah, yeah. Boricua.
I love Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
man. That
I've
that
never been to
is.
Puerto Rico, but
Well, you live in Miami.
I love Puerto Rican people, man. I've
Yeah.
had Puerto Rican girlfriends, everything. Lots of friends in Puerto Rico, so good people.
Got Casper's Crib, Ed, Santi. She's an up and comer, man. So she just started her YouTube channel. She's
Mhm.
hilarious. Every channel
What?
it's her talking, and her husband is
Mhm.
just quiet. Like I know, right before she starts filming, she must turn to him and say, "Don't you say a word. You
You better
shut up."
shut up. I'll smack you.
But her,
Lola
she's funny.
wishes. Lola wishes she had that.
Oh,
Lola
come on. We
wishes I
know who
would
wears
shut
the
up.
pants in that family.
Lola wishes. Who? Who do you think wears the pants?
I know Lola does.
Oh, really? Okay.
She has
Lola
to.
is the boss of certain things for sure. Lola's the boss of certain things without a doubt.
Lola's the boss.
But
Oh,
Lola, see, listen. There's serious talk, right? There are women who, like, a lot of people think, oh yeah, she's got to be really tough. That guy, you know, he can't be as tough. Lola is the type of woman that cannot deal with a guy that's weak. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
that's
I
good.
don't know.
That's called a
I don't
strong
know if you've
woman.
ever. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever dealt with that, but Lola it is allergic to weakness in dudes.
I can't stand that.
Yeah, when she sees weakness in dudes, she's like, "No, I don't even want to see your face."
Does she ever
Yeah,
just randomly tell you,
yeah.
"Give me,
She's she's
drop down and give me
she's
20"?
she's married to me, and if I get sick or something, she's like, "What is wrong with you?" You know, she has very little. I have to really, you know, like as a guy, you know, when you're married, right?
Oh, when
So
I'm sick, I'm a big baby.
yeah, when you're sick, you want to be mothered or whatever. No, I have to, like, I really have to pour it on, man. I have to start acting and like falling down on the floor and doing stuff, man, to make Lola. She's like a predator. To weakness to her is okay. You got to go.
Right. See, people
Seriously.
see my wife and oh, she's Filipino, and they
Mhm.
think she's stereotypical. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
there was no FedEx sticker on her. I didn't order her from the Philippines. She was raised here.
Yeah, tough women. They do what
She's
they need to do.
tough.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I like that too. I don't like weak women. Like if you don't know how to pump your own gas and you can't take care of yourself, I got no, like, no thanks. I
Pumping your
can't
own
deal with that.
gas.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, I remember I liked Lola when I met her because so in New York, it was a rare thing. Like I actually had a car and an apartment. Dudes don't have that kind of stuff in New York, you know. So
no.
dudes are living with their mom, you know, taking the subway. But you know, and I remember I would go to get gas, and Lola would get out and pay for the gas, or she would be pumping it, and I was like, oh, okay, there you go.
Now there's a difference. Like if I open the door for somebody
Hmm.
and I shut the door and they
Hmm.
reach over to unlock my door, man, that
Hmm.
I'll just
Yeah.
get out of my car right there. Get out. I don't have time for
Hmm.
that. Don't
Hmm.
waste. I wouldn't waste my time unlock because I used to have this.
Wait, say this again. Let me see the
So I
scenario.
had a rice rocket and I shaved the
Hmm.
door handles off. I used to have
Hmm.
this Honda Accord with no door handles,
Hmm.
all fixed up, whatever.
Hmm.
And I would click the lock. I'd open it. I'd let them sit down. I'd shut the. I make sure they're comfortable. They put their
Hmm.
seatbelt on. I shut the door, and then they would reach over to my side and unlock it. It's like,
Hmm.
you know what? Look, get out of my car. Don't waste my time.
You don't want them to I'm missing this.
No,
Why
I
don't you
don't.
want
I don't want them to
you
unlock
don't
my
want
door.
them to unlock your door?
No, because what's the point? They're sitting there, they're dressed nice, and they're gonna reach over, get all wrinkled up and uncomfortable to unlock my door. Like, look,
I don't understand what you're saying.
I
That's
just
crazy. Okay, so you don't like that.
I do and don't. There's certain times. Like
Okay.
I'm all
I mean,
about
I think I like that. I would like for that person to,
not
I
the
believe
person.
you should be a gentleman. So I believe in, yes, open the door. Like I usually
Open the door,
drive.
right?
Yeah, I usually drive, even though Lola's a good driver. I taught her everything she knows about driving. She's got skills. But I would like that thing of nowadays cars open themselves, right? I mean, you can
Yeah.
open the door or whatever, but it's nice that that person will go open the door for you. Or you're saying you don't like that. You're saying if a woman gets out and pumps the gas, you don't like that. She needs to play her position.
No,
Like,
heck
you know what
no.
I'm
She
saying?
could pump her own gas. But I'm talking about like,
Oh,
if it's first date, I'm trying to
mhm.
be a gentleman. Don't spit in
Okay,
the face of that.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like if I open the door,
That's
don't
too independent for you. Damn it, woman! You opened my door. Get out. Walk.
no, it's just like, I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah,
Knock it off.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
don't
I mean,
understand.
I don't like girls that are helpless.
Yeah,
I can't stand that.
yeah. No, that's a turn off. There's
Yeah, like
people who love that.
if
There's
I
people who
ask
love
you
that.
what do you want for dinner and it's a 10-minute conversation about I don't know, no, get out. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, yeah,
I want someone that's decisive that knows what she wants.
yeah. Now Lola is the boss. Like for me, my philosophy, and I don't know if you're like this or not, but my philosophy is, I believe men should be able to make money and take care of their women. I make the money. Lola is the boss of the money. I literally get enough to survive, man. I just get enough. I can put some gas in my car. If I want a sandwich, I can get a sandwich. But Lola needs to be in charge of
Ooh.
the money. And the reason why I believe in that, there's a lot of guys that their women have no idea what's going on with the bill or anything like that. And if something happens to that guy, they are done. They are toast. I don't want that to happen. So now I sit down and we talk about stuff, and I'm like, okay, what's going on with this? Are we handling this or whatever? But the idea of taking that away, and I grew up like that, where if my dad didn't let my mom have some control, and he was the kind of guy who liked to hide whatever he was doing, and so my mom was left a lot of times on her own trying to figure out how to take care of everyone. And I told myself,
Mm.
like, no, I've got to make sure. To me, my job as a man is to make sure I'm taking care of that woman, and the ultimate thing is she has to be able to take care of herself. It's the same way I feel about my kids. I want to take care of them, but that means my job is to teach them and make sure they know what to do when I'm not there. So that they're
100%. That's my greatest fear. My greatest fear is if I die, knock on wood, what's going to happen? Can she handle it by herself or will she
right.
run out and have all her relatives come in and help her and all that stuff? No, I want her to stand on her own 2 feet
Mm-hmm.
and raise the kids because we have 2 small children. And I
Yeah.
think she could knock that out of the park. She's phenomenal.
I mean, I've seen that. It happens. Recently there was a story. I don't want to get into the particular person, but there was a story of someone who died and his wife had no control over anything.
Oh,
And
that's horrible.
and so everyone, his wife and his kids screwed because they didn't know what was going on and he didn't pay for anything or whatever.
Oh, that's like
And
when my dad died, he had about 80 grand in debt. Surprise. And I told my mom, see, even in death, he's still
yeah.
screwing you.
Yeah, that's crazy. No, I don't want it. And then my secret reason is I think if like if you do that and something happens to you and this is how you wind, or even if you don't die, this is how you wind up with your kids calling somebody else daddy.
Oh,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? I want my people to be independent. For you to come in there and squeeze me out, you got to be tough.
So
Yeah.
let's circle back, as
Uh-huh.
Joe Biden's assistant likes to say. Let's talk
Mhm.
about SHOT Show. So how did you go
Mhm.
to your first SHOT Show, and what did you think? Were you blown away by it, or?
Yeah, I thought it was I think how do we wind up going? We were just like looking at everything on social media and all that. We heard about SHOT Show and we were like, "Hey, how do we go to this?" We looked it up and we happened to, be able to jump through the hoops to let us go to SHOT Show. We went out there and it was insane. For that
Right.
first time seeing all these different guns and like walking around the convention and the first time we went, I went to media day and that was crazy, and then we didn't fill out the paperwork right, so Lola couldn't go, so it was only me out there on my own. Like, what the hell, you know yeah, it was pretty insane, but it was awesome at the same
So
time.
Lola was just hanging out in Vegas by herself.
Yeah, man, who knows what she was getting up to in
Yeah, she
Vegas.
might have done that on
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah, it's possible.
She might have
It's
done that on purpose.
possible.
Like, you go to this show, I'll be at table 7.
Yeah, the first time we went to Vegas, I don't know where I have pictures. I have pictures of this. The first time Lola and I went to Vegas before gun stuff, um, we went to Vegas and I forgot what's the name of the hotel. Anyway, we actually ran into Bill Maher. You ever heard of Bill Maher?
Yeah,
Yeah, Bill Maher likes black chicks, right?
yeah, probably.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So we ran into Bill Maher and he saw Lola. Lola was like in this banging like black dress or whatever. And he was with like someone I could swear was an escort chick. Okay.
Probably.
But he loved Lola so much. He was like, "You guys need to hang out with me." And he was getting us into all these different places and buying us drinks and everything. We had a great time. He was a gentleman, like no indecent proposals or anything like that were made.
I was just
But
gonna
it's
say that.
but it's funny. We have pictures with him. Lola has pictures somewhere with her, and Bill Maher's tiny. Lola is tiny. Bill Maher's tinier than Lola with a big, massive head. And I have those pictures somewhere.
It's crazy. After that trip, you bought your first Corvette. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
So
No, it was
let's
just a
talk
cool.
about.
It was just a cool random thing about Vegas, man. Anything could happen in Vegas, dude. It's so
Vegas
crazy.
is the most amazing city unless you're broke. If you're broke, Vegas is cruel, like
Yeah.
absolutely devastatingly cruel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's so much fun. If you have a little
I
bit
don't
of money,
gamble. Do you gamble?
I'm a craps guy. I love craps.
Oh, I don't know. I can't even play cards. So
Not really into cards, but
yeah,
a
I
good
can't do
hot
any of that
craps
stuff.
table. That's
Oh
the
yeah.
most fun game.
How does craps work? Is
Ah,
that just like throwing a dice thing?
you
Or
throw dice. So they have a pass
Okay.
line. The very basics of
Mhm.
craps is you have a come line and a don't come line. What, or pass line, right? So you
Uh-huh.
put your money on the pass. You bet in. So say it's a $10 table. You put $10 on the pass line.
Mhm.
And the guy gets the dice and he rolls it. Whatever that number is, if it's a 7 or 11, you win, right? So
So if
they
it's
double
over a
your money.
number, if it's over or under a number, you're saying?
No, if it's just those two numbers.
Oh, if it's 7 or 11. Okay.
If it's 7 or 11, the first roll, you win. And then there's like 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 on the numbers. Then that's where you place your bets, right? So if say he rolls a 4, he has to
Mhm.
roll a 4 again before he hits a 7, and then you win.
Mhm.
So if you have your money on the pass line and you have, say, another $10 on 5 and he rolls a 5, you automatically get double that money.
Yeah, you lost me already, by the way.
So anyways, so if
Yeah,
you
I'm already confused.
so the way craps works is you bet the pass line and then you bet
Right.
all the numbers, right?
Okay. Mhm.
You probably have about $150 on the table at one time, and you could lose
Okay.
it like that. But
Okay.
you could also win. So the last
Mhm.
time we were in Coshada, one of the casinos in Louisiana, I was like $35 in my pocket and I was almost broke. We left with $2,800
Oh wow. Okay.
because I won on the pass line twice. The
Mhm.
table got real hot and I had my numbers out, and
And you
the
had
guy
like a nice
just
even spread on whatever the thing is. Okay, that's good.
it's so much fun and people start yelling. It's a really fun
Mhm.
because the whole table wants you to win.
Mhm.
And
So
I just love it.
someone's rolling the dice, but anyone could bet on it.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And it's fun to roll the dice too.
Hmm. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
you should definitely try it next time it's shot for sure.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, someone will have to. But yeah, man, I'm not like a good gambler. I don't gamble. I don't drink. You know, I mean, I would. I'm not against drinking or anything like that,
Mhm.
and I do drink a little bit, but I'm not good at handling my liquor.
Me either.
So I'll drink
Two,
something. I'll drink a wine cooler and go to sleep.
yeah, 2 beers, I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
I can't
So.
drink that stuff. I'll have like a mixed drink or like a Red Bull vodka,
Mhm.
and that's about it.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
like to
Yeah.
talk, man. I like just talking and hanging out with people for me is fun. You know.
So, what's your advice? Because I'm gonna try and hit SHOT Show next year.
So you've never been to SHOT Show?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I've been to Vegas.
Uh,
Back when I lived in
right.
California, we'd go to Vegas every weekend.
Right. Yeah. Um.
So, what do I bring? 'Cause I see a lot of guys walking around with backpacks. What's the deal with that? Do you have to have a backpack?
No, I don't think you have to.
That
Nowadays, I
seems
see.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, a lot of YouTubers nowadays are just using cell phones. I don't use a cell phone to do my video, but I do always have a cell phone with me. But when we started, we took like tripods and did all that craziness. Now I have like a Canon I have a Canon M5 that I use, or Canon M50, small, lightweight. It's a
Mhm.
step above a GoPro, but a lot of people use GoPros, they use their iPads, phones, or whatever. You want to be lightweight. I think people maybe the reason why we do have backpacks is because you probably want to bring your own drinks. Everything in Vegas is ridiculously expensive. A bottle of water is going to cost you $3. Orange
That
juice
adds
is going
up.
to be like $5 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we usually will bring stuff to drink or snacks and things like that, because we're just doing a lot of walking around and running around. And then you might want to have that backpack as well to maybe throw some, maybe you're picking up
Literature.
patches and things like that. Not literature, forget it. I don't even want that.
Really?
No, I would just take a picture. So for me, SHOT Show, I'm looking at everything to see what the beauty to me of SHOT Show in particular is so that I can actually get my hands on things to see what I like. Because obviously I can't buy everything and I can't get everything, right? I'm definitely nowhere near the biggest YouTuber out there that I can just, oh, I want that, and the company is sending it to you or whatever immediately. So I want to see, what do I really like? And if I have to buy this thing, I already know, like, hey, I like this. I like how it feels, how it looks like, how it works, and I'm going to take the time to invest in this thing.
Right. Have
So
you ever
a lot
bought
of
something
pictures.
you really regretted?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
What's
that
the
happens all
What's
the
the
time.
worst regret you have buying
Oh man, I have to
gun
think
related?
about what guns did I regret buying. I'm trying to think. It'll be tough. I would have to think about that for a little while. I always find, because I've bought all kinds of different guns, and I know that there are guns that I've regretted buying, and I'm trying to. The idea of what exactly that is not. It's not coming to me immediately right now.
Oh man,
Yeah.
so many regrets.
Really?
No,
No, I just think it's not like, I mean, guns, for the way I look at it, there's you don't really buy stuff unless you think that there's something really cool in here. So I'm trying to think, like, what did I get and I thought this was cool, and then maybe I realized it wasn't so cool.
I have one. I bought a grip pod. Remember
Mhm.
the AR grip pod with the stand, the little
Mhm.
legs that came out?
And then it opens up. Okay.
I hated that thing. I
Really?
thought it was
Okay.
the coolest thing ever for about 2 minutes,
Okay. Yeah.
and I
Huh.
hated it.
Yeah. It's so many. I'm just trying to think of what you'll have to give me some time to think about that, and then I'll come
All right.
back to that
Real
one.
quick,
Yeah.
everyone in the chat, please
Mhm.
hit the like and subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'm also going to put Mr. Hank Strange's link. Please like and subscribe to his channel. It's super interesting. And definitely don't forget to subscribe. He has 4 channels
Oh,
now.
I thought of one, and it's not as bad as you think. But I bought a Daniel Defense integrally suppressed. I'm trying to remember what it is. It was like a DDM3 or something like that.
Was it just underwhelming or?
It's integrally suppressed, which I always wanted, right? I
Right.
always wanted an
Who
integrally
doesn't?
suppressed rifle. Yes, and then everyone says like Daniel Defense is the most awesome, and they're good. There was really nothing wrong with the gun. What wind up happening to me is that when I bought it and spent it was expensive gun. You know, we're talking about like a $3,000 rifle
Oh, shucks.
that I paid for. You know, it just like I found out later after I did that I could have really just built that gun for less money and gotten exactly or closer to what I wanted without doing that. And I found that out later, you know, and really I think that Daniel Defense makes good stuff. I'm not trying to say they don't make
Mhm.
good stuff, but here's one of the problems. You know, it's these specific Daniel Defense um furniture and things like that builds up the price on that. And I was even asking them like, hey, can you just sell this as a bones model? So you know what I mean by that? It's
Yeah.
bones. You don't have the stock and the pistol grip and all that, and you could put what you want to on it instead of their Daniel Defense stuff. And they said, no, we don't want to do that because that's going to take away from our brand, which I think makes sense. But when you spend all that money on that and it's just furniture and it's not even the furniture that you like, it's kind of like,
Yeah. Plus,
why am
I
I
think
doing
over the
that?
last
So,
probably 5 or 6 years, the stigma
mhm.
against like Frankenstein guns has gone away too. Because before, I
Yeah.
remember when I first, like 10 years ago, if you had a
Hmm.
gun you're putting together, people were like, oh, it's probably unreliable and it's
Hmm.
trash. And
Hmm.
if it didn't come from a manufacturer, people hated on it immediately.
Yeah. And
Now all my guns are put
yeah,
together.
you want to customize it a little bit. Look, I still have that gun. You know, I'm not getting rid of it. It's a technically suppressed gun. I could sell that, you know, or whatever, but I don't really want to. But I actually have a gun that I built um pretty much the same way. That's integrally suppressed. It's an integrally suppressed 300 blackout. I have another integrally suppressed 300 blackout that I'm actually more happy with, and it's more of a Frankenstein gun, and it has the
Mhm.
elements in it that I prefer. So like that particular gun that I'm talking about has a polymer upper and lower. You know, it's reinforced, but it makes it lighter.
Right.
And I have the furniture or whatever on it that I like and I feel comfortable with. And even if like my style changes and I change that a little bit, it's not as expensive a thing for me as, you know, I feel like Daniel Defense and some other companies like that. It's the same as when I remember when I was a kid and I first went to get my hair cut here in America, right? I grew up, my mom cut my hair. Um, uh, and so I went to get a haircut in a barber shop. And that first barber, I was trying to tell him how I wanted my hair to be cut, and he was like, "No, I'm going to cut your hair however I want to." Right?
Really?
I never ever like that. I never did anything like that again. Right? So to me, I feel like that. You know, when a company is like, "No, yes, you're going to pay us a lot of money, and we're going to give you what we think." You know, and then if you don't like it, this you probably wound up paying us an extra $1,000 for this furniture. You don't like that, put whatever you want on there, but you have no choice. So I think that was my big regret about that whole thing.
Well, speaking of haircuts, I was saving this to the end.
Hmm.
What's the deal with the mohawk? You just
What
decided
do you
one
mean?
day, like, that's my look. I want that.
Yeah, I've always looked for like I've always thought like, well, what's a cool haircut that I can get that I could just stick with, you know? So I can't do dreadlocks because my hair won't lock.
Because on Instagram, you have a picture of you bald. That was a pretty good
Yeah,
look. Bald is
yeah,
beautiful.
I did that for a long time. I used to hide my hair because a lot of people don't believe this is like my actual hair and all that kind of stuff. Because people don't realize that I'm mixed. I'm black and Indian. I consider myself to be a black person, but I'm mixed. My mom was Indian, my dad's black. This is my hair. This is what it looks like. So a long time through my life, I kind of like cut all my hair off because a lot of people couldn't handle it, and it's not that um, you know, there's just some things that you don't want to keep calling attention to yourself because people just can't deal with it. And so for a long time I did that, and then as I got older, I started thinking, oh, what's a haircut that I can do that I can live with? And when I first started this, I hadn't figured it out at that time. So I would just shave all my hair off and go bald or let it grow out a little bit and whatever.
And then you
And
bought like the ATM box, the 18 box set
the
on
18
VHS.
No, it's just one day I thought, oh, mohawk, that would be awesome.
No,
You
it's
know,
I like your mohawk
just-
a lot
just-
cleaner.
Mhm. Oh, you liked it when it was just like, you don't like the
I don't like
lines
no
and the,
fuzz. I think
Yeah.
it looks way better if it's just a mohawk and then nothing, no fade
well, I
up.
wanted to flip it up. I didn't want to do. I did that in the beginning. So if
Yeah,
you
it
look
looks
at some
really good
pictures,
like that.
yeah, some pictures you'll see just a big blown out. If you actually take my hair and comb it up, it'll stand to like about here.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it'll be pretty big. But what I basically do is I just I wash my hair or whatever, and I have almost like a hair lotion that I just put that in my hair, and it just stays more compacted or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
easier. It's easy for me
So
to manage.
my son had I call it a samurai bun because it's not a man bun. All right. And it got so long. I said,
Uh-huh.
all right, we're gonna spike it up today. So I did
Mhm.
I did 6 giant spikes.
Mhm.
And I got a call from the school.
That's not allowed.
No, I mean they're really tall. They
Oh.
go, it's a distraction in school. I mean, he sits in front, and everyone is. He goes, Dad, all the girls kept touching my hair, and I go,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's what. Yeah, that used to happen to me when I was a kid, but their
Yeah.
boyfriends don't
So
like
now
that shit.
he's always, he spikes it up. I mean, it's flipping really long now.
Yeah.
But I decided no more man bun, so I'm growing out the back. So he's gonna go from man bun to the whole Steven Seagal look back, 80s Steven Seagal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. He's young. He's young. I wanted to do something because I know at some point I'm going to be too old to do anything else. So I was like, I'm going to ride or die with this mohawk until I'm just too old to,
No, it's a good look,
No,
man. It's a
more
good
the
look.
option.
It's all right. I used to be bald by
patented.
choice.
It's patented with my barbershop. No one else could go in there and get this haircut. It's a guy,
So I used to be bald by
patent
choice.
Hank Strange.
So I grew up in LA, and I was probably the only white kid in my neighborhood. So everyone thought from distance, everyone thinks I'm Mexican. So I would have groups of like Samoans and essays and brothers roll up on me, and they'd look like, oh, it's just a white guy. And they would leave me alone. I'm like, thanks. I'm not even that intimidating. So at the longest time, I've been bald by choice. And then a few years ago, I tried to grow it out.
It's too late.
I'm no longer bald by choice.
Oh, yeah. But
That
bald is a good look, man. Bald is there's nothing
As
wrong
long
with
as you
bald.
don't have dents in
Very
your head, you're all right.
Yeah, if you don't have like a Klingon looking head, some people have.
I've
or
seen
some
it.
people,
I've seen
some
it.
people have
man.
a shark fin. I think LL Cool J has like a shark fin type of head.
Oh man, that's the worst.
Yeah,
So
that's why
Santi
he
did
always
have
wore
a.
hats.
So Santi had a good question. I've been having it up here. She goes, "What's your most embarrassing gun experience besides the 1911 breakdown?"
Most embarrassing. I think there's an old video. I don't know if I still have it on YouTube because YouTube might have made us delete it or something like that. But there's an old video of me doing a mud torture test with a friend of mine, and when the Tavor first came out. So it was that versus an AK, and we did a mud torture. And my friend was in the army, and
You took a brand new Tavor and threw it in the mud.
Yeah, if you see that video, it's embarrassing because he's all skinny and fit, and he's putting plates on me, and I'm like, no, man, I'm gonna die if you don't take this off, and and then I'm fat in the mud with plates. And we're going through a whole thing, and it was embarrassing, but I thought it was a good video because the Tavor actually did pretty well. The AK failed.
Yeah, it's crazy. The AK had such a rabid fan base, but I know in IV88, when Eric was doing a test on one of his AKs, it only went to like 700 rounds before it burned up.
Yeah,
Then you had the cheap PSA AR-15 went 1,000 or something.
Yeah, and I think we did 3 guns, if I remember. I think we did an AK, an AR. And the Tavor, if I'm not mistaken. I remember specifically the AK and the Tavor, but the Tavor lasted longer, and it would have been easier for us to correct any problems that the Tavor had. But the AK had a fatal problem, and what I mean by that is that because of the mud and everything going in there, a shell casing stripped off and was like stuck in the barrel. And he didn't have and this is why with an AK, you want to have that cleaning rod that they sometimes come with. and he didn't have one of those, so that's done. Done.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Yeah, so that gun was done at that point, right? Can't shoot it anymore. And the Tavor was tougher than that, and we could have easily gotten the Tavor back working and all that. And we really, I think that video is still out there. Someone would have to tell me if it is or if it isn't. I mean, I've done a lot of videos. I don't even like to look at them.
You've had to have done 1,500 videos.
Probably easily 1,500. We don't necessarily. I think I probably have maybe 700 or 800 on YouTube. YouTube has made us take down hundreds of videos over the years.
They've told you to take them down?
No, it's not that they've told us. Remember, there was a time. So, for example, my channel got deleted because of bullpup videos, and I'm big into bullpups. And there was a time when they were just going after whoever had bullpup videos. And I remember I woke up that morning and a guy who was also into bullpups was like, "Hey, they just took down my channel, and what they hit was all bullpup videos. You should do something." And by the time I went to look at my phone, they'd taken my channel down. And the videos they went, because it's like a 3 strikes you're out type of thing with YouTube.
Kidding.
Yeah, and it was bullpup videos, right? So we wound up removing a lot of those and trying to put them back. But there's a lot of videos that they're just always hitting and demonetizing. And eventually, I believe all that stuff builds up against you. If you just build up a bunch of yellow coins, it's a negative for you. So we've been, we'll post those and they'll hit it and we'll maybe let it stay there and then we'll remove it. A lot of that stuff is on Full30 or Gunstreamer or Odyssey or whatever. But I've noticed it just weighs the whole channel down. There's no good reason why I have that many subscribers and I have a tough time getting people to look at the videos.
You should have at least 5% retention, and at 100,000 subscribers, you should be reaching at least 5,000-6,000 easy.
Yeah, but that's not what we have. And then if we can get to that, maybe a video could do better. But now what I've noticed, whatever we shoot in, they hit. Or for most of those things. So it's really tough. We've played this game with YouTube, and I think overall, like not knowing, it's better for me. I always think, hey, just remove those videos, try to put them back or put them somewhere else. I'm really trying to figure out exactly what to do with that. Lola's been putting a bunch of videos like that on. We got another channel, and it's called Strangerholics, and we've been putting this thing is a nightmare. We really shouldn't have to go through all of this to do something that is protected by the Constitution, and we're not hurting anyone. We're not advocating hurting people, but it is what it is.
It's insane that they could have naked yoga. Everybody in the chat, make sure you Google or go look for naked yoga on YouTube. It's pretty much soft porn.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't put a scope on top of a rifle and you get demonetized. It's ridiculous. It's nuts.
It's so many crazy. I don't know, man. And the worst part of it is that we're not doing anything about it. So collectively, and I know all of us can't come together, but collectively, we don't ever spend time going, okay, what are we going to do about this? Let's somehow
what can you
organize.
do? What can you do on YouTube, really? I mean, they own
I don't.
it.
I don't think there's a lot we could do with YouTube. I think what we should be doing,
A gun tube.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave YouTube. Okay, I would figure out whatever it is that they're okay with and have that there. But if we all agree on a platform somewhere else that we're like, hey, this is a better platform we can go on here, and maybe put those videos on that platform and send our audience goes over there, and then the industry goes over there and does advertising or whatever, then we can make something out of it, right? And
It
maybe
would have to be all the big names would have to go in one shot.
Everyone would not. We don't need all the big names, but a lot of people would have to agree to do it, because the reason why Full30 hasn't worked and Gunstreamer hasn't worked, and I've tried to play a part in all of those things, right, is because they don't get the eyeballs. If you don't actually get the audience going over there, even the firearms industry doesn't want to spend money on it. They don't want to do it. They'll still rather have their stuff be up on YouTube. And the funny thing is, if you look at it, there are some gun channels that are able to somehow escape whatever's going on here, and I'm not knocking them for that. That's great, but that's who the industry, as long as that exists, the industry will go, we'll just deal with those guys. So that's the reason why nothing's happening. And it is what it is. But I think that if enough of us, because how many big gun guys are there? Maybe 10?
About 10, yeah.
Yeah, if there's 10 big gun guys, 1,000 of us that are medium or small gun guys, we can have a bigger audience. So if you can actually move an audience over somewhere, you might get some serious attention from the industry. But like the three elements have to come together at the same time. The content creators have to agree to put their stuff up there first. Then the audience has to go over there, and then the industry has to go support that.
It would have to
And
be, I don't know. I go on YouTube. I know you've done it. You get on a YouTube rabbit hole. One minute you're looking at, someone climbing the Alps freehand, and then you're watching pimp slap fighting in a bar. Watching people smack each other. I mean, I've gone down.
I don't
YouTube
watch a lot
rabbit
of gun
holes.
stuff. I don't watch a lot of gun stuff on YouTube.
I don't watch a lot of gun stuff.
Yeah, I do watch gun things. If something comes out and I'm like, oh, let me see, Military Arms Channel has it, or this person or that person, then I'm like, oh, let me go check that out and see what that's about.
I listen to podcasts, so I do Joe Rogan, you, and then that's about it. If it's gun related,
Joe Rogan is tough now because of and Spotify. I like to do
I'll
the
listen
same
to
thing
yours
because of editing.
Flying Rich is on, and then I turn it. I just turn it on.
Right. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. No. Yeah, look, I'm the same way. I listen to or look at on YouTube while I'm editing a lot of car things, a lot of other stuff that I'm interested in, because it's really just fodder. If it was a gun thing going on, I would have to stop and pay attention. Yeah. So
like
that
me,
is
I
the
really
tough
want
part.
to. I want to get I have a 8-year-old son, almost 9, and my daughter 6, almost 7, and she wasn't into guns. I took her to an outdoor range, and after the first shot, it hurt her ears, and she's like, I'm done with it. I don't want anything. But she watched Lara Croft the other day, and now she wants to be Lara Croft. Thank you, Angelina Jolie. Shout out. You've twice changed my life.
You don't want to know what the first one was.
So, hey, it went down a couple octaves after that movie first came out. So I want to encourage that, but I want to do a whole series of videos on gun safety with kids and all that. But I think YouTube will just butcher me.
Yeah, I think so too. And this is why we need an alternative place to go to. And I'm not saying that place should just have, for the reason that you just said, I think they should have more content than that, right?
It can't be just the guns.
Yeah, and then even us that we're the content creators, and because we're like, if you make something, you don't want to consume it as much anymore, right? If you work, let's say you work at an Italian restaurant, you're eventually not going to like pizza that much, right? Just because this is what you're always around. I think you see what I'm saying,
Yeah. Like food analogies and me don't go hand in hand. Right. I eat a lot of food.
Yeah, but the thing is that we all have to somehow commit to it, because they need eyeballs. They need people to go over there. And obviously there's a big audience for this gun stuff, but it does need to be a diversified content of things that are over there, just so that it's viable for people. And I'm not saying people give up being on YouTube or Facebook. I would use all those things to funnel people to this place. And I think there is potentially enough of an audience there, but it's work. The problem is none of us want to do that work of finding that other thing, and that's why there is no such thing. And that's we're probably going to go like this until everything gets burned down and everything falls apart. And then most people will even just go away and give up, and whoever survives will survive, but they probably won't be gun stuff on social media anymore, and we all might be doing something else because we have a good aptitude for it, and we'll still be gun guys, and that's too bad. Or maybe when it's already too late, someone will try to do something and it won't go anywhere. A perfect example is Parler. It hasn't really worked.
Oh no, Parler was DOA because it's just not easy. YouTube is easy. That's why
Parler was the one that came the closest. The problem is the people behind Parler don't really understand social media platforms. They don't really understand the internet, and they don't understand technology.
Yeah,
that's the problem. They came the closest, and the reason why Parler came the closest is because of what all the platforms were doing, and everyone started going over there, right? Including Trump. But when when the platforms got together and decided to take out Trump, that ended Parler.
Which is insane that they could do that. That's
Well,
bananas
that's
to
what they
me.
did. There's other platforms that they're not able to do that to. Parler didn't realize, like, they didn't think about being on the blockchain, which means instead of like being on Amazon servers or Google servers, you're on the cloud, the same servers in the cloud that are used to verify Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. If they
Right.
would have done that, those exist, and they could have done that, and it would be almost impossible. Maybe they could kick them off of the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, but you could still go there and access it and have it, and the audience would be. Look, realize Trump was about to hit 100 million followers on Twitter.
Yeah. I joined
That's
Twitter just because of his off the wall comments. I thought it was
Do you
hilarious.
know how insane that is? This is the reason why they got together and they killed it. And even now they can't put it together. And one of the reasons is that they don't really understand technology, so they don't know about that. And then they can't make a deal with Trump. And I don't blame him. If you're the guy that had 100 million people following you, you're not going to go to a platform unless they give you a piece of it.
Yeah, makes
It only
sense.
makes sense. Yeah, if it was you, you'd be like, no, you guys have to give me a piece of that.
So the thing with
So,
YouTube, that's where a lot of people get their first, I think, taste of guns.
mhm.
They go up just like a random channel, and they're like, "This is really cool," But so if all the gun people got erased from YouTube tomorrow, where would all the new shooters learn about guns? I mean, YouTube is like the end all be all at the moment.
I think it is the end all be all. Like I said, I don't believe we could be erased, right? At some point, so one of a couple of things is going to happen here. They may go, look, you know what? None of this content anymore. Okay, then we've got a problem and we'll have to go somewhere else. Or they may say all of this has to go behind a paywall and people have to pay to see it. That's probably a better thing for us. At least none of it is right. I don't believe any of this is right, but
Right,
no one's going to take
right.
up our cause because no one cares, right? Including the folks we think are on our side, they don't care. So it's one of those two things that's going to happen. But right now, what they're doing is they're turning up the fire and slow boil killing off channels. And even now, you're seeing these bigger channels that were able to get away with things because they've got the consultants and they have a good understanding of this and they've figured out how to, escape that algorithm and get things going. YouTube's catching up to them. So this is not forever. So what's happening to us? We're now seeing big names. Oh, this big name was demonetized. Okay, more of that is gonna happen until eventually we're gonna one day turn around and we're just not there because
Right.
ultimately they can control what people think. This is what you see. Like, imagine platforms actually putting messages. If you put up something about COVID or you say this thing or that thing, even if it's in a picture, they can read it and put a warning on there. That
Right.
means they're mind controlling everyone.
Yeah. And honestly, if the
So
government wanted to, if these big tech corps wanted to, they could erase gun people. And
anyone,
how would you
anyone,
communicate? How would you communicate? Like I
they could
always tell
do.
people like this, like, hey, if they ever just shut your phone off, how would you communicate with your neighbors? How would you? That's why on my channel, I really focus on building your local network because
Mhm.
like I have a group of guys now, it's only like 25, 30 guys, but through these give outs, I have all their email addresses.
Mhm.
So I have about 1,000 email addresses. I'm going to put those together and I'm going to
Mhm.
start just sending every month, not to bug them, send out emails like this is going on.
Mhm.
Um, I just want to
But
build
even
my
that they
local
could hit.
network.
If they want to, they could turn off everything, you
Everybody
know?
needs to
Yeah.
build their local network, though.
Yeah. Ultimately, the one thing they can't stop is us actually getting together and talking to people. So that's why you're right. The local network you have of actually talking to people and knowing who your neighbors are and who are the
100%.
ones you're the most alike. That's the most important thing. That's what you have to fall back on. But the point is here is that it's not just us as gun guys. You're already seeing that car people are getting hit. Why? Because they want everyone to switch over to electric cars. Everyone's not going to want to do that,
I don't.
but there's coming a point where the car companies can't make them anymore, and then there's a point where they're going to go, we don't even want you to have those. You really should just turn those in so they could be crushed. And if you're out there supporting it and you're like, no, these are awesome, we shouldn't do this, they're going to block you. No one's going to see your message. This is going to be used against everyone. So maybe more than likely it'll happen in our lifetime, but maybe not today, maybe not 6 months from now, but a few years from now, you're going to see them turning on whoever they feel like you're not doing the right thing. You
Right.
know, oh, your house is not environmentally friendly enough. You know, they could just do whatever they want. Oh, you're not. We don't like how you think.
Yeah. Real quick shout out to Daryl B. $5 super chat. I greatly appreciate that. He said he just picked up a Shield Plus PC 9mm. Also got an HK SP5 for a safe. Ooh, HK SP5.
That's a sacrilege. I hope that's a safe queen that's gonna come out of the safe at some point. I mean, I hope that's not really a safe queen.
I don't believe in safe
You gotta
queens,
shoot-
man.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
don't
shoot
do
that
it.
thing. But
If I'm
congratulations.
not going to shoot it, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Everything should be shot.
people baby their stuff, their guns. If it gets a nick or something, it's a gun. It's a tool.
If I bought a $10,000 gun, I'm shooting it. If I buy,
I'm shooting the heck out of it.
$5,000 gun, whatever it costs. If I buy a $50 gun,
There's only
the only
one
reason
gun
I don't
I
shoot guns
shot.
is I get too busy to shoot. Like that happens.
There was
I
only
actually
one
get too
gun I
busy.
shot where I was actually scared to mess it up. Well, I had a subscriber. He goes, out of all the guns, what do you wish? What's on your bucket list to shoot? I go, I don't know. I want to shoot like one of those staccatos. That'd be cool.
Mhm.
And like a real German Luger would be cool, because it's history. And he goes, oh, I got one of those. So he showed up at the range one day with a it looked brand new, like it just came out of the factory. It was a 1943 German Luger with matching.
And you didn't pop rounds?
I shot 4 magazines through it, and the
that's
magazines had matching serial numbers to the gun.
Nice.
This was
Yeah,
because
but
I
you
guess
shot
when they
it.
issued it to the police force, they gave you 2 magazines that were serialized to that gun, which is crazy. I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. I think
But
Germany
I was so
does stuff like
scared to
that.
shoot it. I was literally kind of shaking. But that was a really cool gun.
Yeah, you did it though, man. That's what you have to do.
That's a bucket list checked
yeah.
off. And I got to shoot a staccato the other day too. So that's another one checked off. What do you think about the price of that gun? Do you think a 1911 should be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000?
I know, like, so for example, Cabot Guns that I know, they make 1911s entry level 3,500. That's the cheapest. They make $7,000 guns. They're beautiful. They're awesome guns. I've shot them. They're amazing. If I had the money, I would buy it. And they're not making them to not be shot. So I would shoot a $2 million gun. I think the most expensive guns I ever handled were like $250,000, but I didn't get a chance to shoot them.
No kidding. What was that?
They were some bespoke shotguns. I went to Standard Manufacturing, a Connecticut shotgun, one time, and they had a couple of bespoke shotguns, which are like, rare woods and all that kind of like heirloom shotguns. The old school people go.
Every time I go into Bass Pro Shops, they always have that shotgun case with like $15,000, $25,000, $30,000 shotguns. I'm like, come on, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think these belong to like some royal family or something like that. But I didn't get a chance to shoot them, but I would shoot the living daylights out of it.
I wanted to ask you, have you ever been to the Tulsa Arms Show?
No.
Wow. That's an event. It's like most gun shows will have like between 300 and 400 tables. This one has like 3,600 tables.
Wow. Okay. Maybe one of these days I got to do that.
It is worth the drive, worth the
Is
flight.
there every kind of gun there? I
saw 2 Colt. What's the first Colt? Peacemaker. This guy had 2 of them sitting on the table.
Oh yeah. What did they cost?
They were, I don't know.
Okay.
Had to be a fortune.
Big money. Yeah.
I didn't touch him. I was like, hey, can I just check him out? But like, I went there. A buddy of mine from Houston drives up there to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he sets up. So I went up there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I was running by these tables, and I couldn't see the whole show. It was insane, and it's in this giant convention center that's 2 stories, and it is nuts. It's called the Wanmaker Gun Show or the Tulsa
I've heard of
Arms
that.
Show.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
The Tulsa Arms Show. It's an event. Like it is,
and that's
crazy.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a short flight for you.
No, I'll drive there, man. I'm gonna drive everywhere if I can help it.
Yeah, it's worth the drive for sure.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait. It's coming up again. I think in not September. Is it September?
Yeah,
I think
towards the end of the year, I'll probably be on the road a lot.
oh, well then put it in your rotation. I'll be up there for sure. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna miss it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make that, depending on if there's like
Well,
overlanding or van stuff going on. But
well, there's the NRA show too in Houston.
mhm.
Are you coming to that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have plans right now. I do have plans to go to SHOT Show, but I don't have plans for the NRA thing because I'm really turned off by the NRA, and I would love
I
to
don't
go
like
meet
the
the
NRA,
people.
but I
Yeah,
like the show. I think the show
yeah.
is kind of cool.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, how do you go to the show and do the show without, and then avoid somehow supporting this whole crazy NRA mess that we're in? The NRA is a mess, and a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize that it is a mess.
I
You
kind of
know,
want to go just to see the meeting. Don't they do like a live meeting? I think the last
they
one they
do.
did
Everyone
live,
can't get into that.
it was so rowdy last time they actually had to just turn. They kicked everyone
Yeah,
out.
but everyone can't get into that. You know,
You think
there's
you have
all
to be like a life member?
yeah, there's a whole bunch of craziness connected to that. And I've never so we've gone to the NRA show a lot. We've never done any of those special events. I'm not, I'm not
Mhm.
into it and we've never done it. So I have voted and all that kind of stuff, but all it's that stuff is worse than unions. They have the NRA shut down worse than unions. I see Lola saying I think I have an event going on sometime around
Yeah,
that
she says
particular
you're doing
time.
your hair that week.
Probably.
Yeah, I
I
joined
believe
the
that.
GOA at IV88. I joined and I gave a donation.
Hmm.
I thought that
Yeah.
was cool. They
Yeah, we're
really seem
life
like
members
they're
with
on the
GOA.
ball.
Huh?
They seem like they're on the ball.
They are, but they don't. They get a fraction of the kind of money that the NRA gets. And
Oh
I
yeah.
would like to see. Let me explain. Let me say this to you. The guys like us who realize what's going on with the NRA, we are in the major minority. The NRA still has 5 million strong members supporting it who have no clue what they're up to. And so that's really the problem with all of that.
But what about all that
Yeah.
corruption that came out last year?
That's what I'm saying. The corruption is the thing. It's ridiculous. I actually listened in. So there was one of these lawsuits that's going on around Wayne LaPierre, happened like live. You could call in, and someone, people always like sending me stuff, and someone sent me the phone number, and they were like, if you call in, you could listen to Wayne LaPierre testifying. And I listened to it, and I was like, wow, this is a mess. It's a mess. That is a mess, and they're still getting a lot of money. They still have a lot of money that they're controlling, and it's not effective. It hasn't done anything for us in the last couple of years,
Mm-mm.
and it's going to get worse from here. So the problem is, when you go to that show, most of the people won't even be aware of that. I see Lola saying we've gone to the last 8 NRA shows. I love it. I used to love going to that show to see the folks. Versus SHOT Show, I went to see the guns,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe there's some companies that I know there, and I'm like, okay, we'll get an opportunity to talk and kick it about things. The NRA I love to go to see the people, and that usually recharges me, right? Because I see all these folks out there who do support me, and we get to actually talk about things, and they see I'm a human being, and you know, and I see that there's human beings out there that support me, and that helps.
Right.
But I don't know, man. I don't know if I really want to go to the NRA and play the game, or even to be over there getting into it with the other gun people who support them, and they don't know that they're totally full of shit.
No, I mean everyone
Most
knows
people
they're
are.
full of shit. You
No,
have to
that's
know.
not true. That's not true.
I
I
mean,
run into
I'm not
people.
even
I'm
that
in
deep into
Florida,
it.
and I run into people all the time that have no clue. Most people don't pay attention to the gun world as closely as we do. We are a minority. We are a major minority. If America has 150 million gun people, and NRA has 5 million members, there's maybe 100,000 of us who think the way that we do, or who are really paying attention to the stuff going on, man.
Wow, that's sad.
Think about it. If most of the people in the NRA knew what was going on, they would be toast already, but they're not.
That's weird because I mean it was so public. All that Wayne LaPierre stuff was so public. How do they not know? Or they're just living in denial.
People aren't paying attention. We are paying attention. We're in our own bubble, right? We're in our echo chamber and we're paying attention. Talk to other people. Talk to people outside of your circle. I do it all the time, and they're like, "Yeah, man." Because let's say I meet someone and they realize I'm a gun guy. I'm like, "Oh, great, yeah, I'm a gun guy. I'm a great, I love the NRA." And if I try to have that conversation with them, it just like disappoints them so much to hear the stuff the NRA has done.
Yeah,
So
it's
it takes
outrageous.
me to it takes me to a point where I'm like, oh, and what I realize is everyone's not paying attention the way that we are, so therefore they don't know. And now you have to pop everyone's bubbles, and at some point it gets tiring, right?
Yeah.
I get it. I put the message out there, but we're effectively, we're talking in circles because of what social media is doing.
So
So people are
did you see Greg Abbott sign all those bills in Texas?
eventually, yes, I did see that. That took a
So
little
I
while.
think Wayne was standing behind him, and then it
Is that
was
what he
funny.
was? Is that what he was waiting for?
He was thanking the NRA, and then someone in the crowd kept yelling "GOA, GOA." It was hilarious. It
Yeah,
was really funny.
it was probably the GOA people, man.
Yeah, I thought
You
that
know?
was hilarious.
Yeah, but see, people don't know. This is what I'm trying to say to you. The politicians don't know.
Hmm.
They don't know.
Takes money.
Yeah, let's ask your audience out there, outside of the gun circle of guys who are looking at the gun world all the time and we're aware of it. Do your family and friends who don't look at this all the time, but they say they're gun people, do they know?
Nah, probably not.
So then we're in the minority because people don't know and they're still supporting NRA because they think that's what they're doing to fight the cause. And I've had
Yeah.
this conversation so many times with people outside of the gun circles that it's like tired. Lola just looks at me like, "Oh my God, here we go again."
She's probably
You
like,
know?
"All right, wrap it up, wrap it up."
Yeah, because people get mad. They get mad when you're trying. They're like, "Wait, you said you're a gun guy." It's like the other day, a friend of mine was telling me how so the state senator here in Florida who sat on the who could have killed Florida's gun control because he controlled that board, right? He could have killed it, but he put it through. I know that guy in that I spoke to him when he did all of this and he rationalized it to me. And I was talking to someone that's really good friends with him, and he's like, "Oh, I know so and so," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't like that guy." It's like, "Why? He's a gun guy. He has all these guns, and he did this." And I was like, "Yeah, but he put all this gun control in effect," and the guy had no clue.
Hmm.
And that's how a lot of NRA people are. They think the NRA is the thing that's fighting for them, and they don't realize the NRA is just taking their money and whatever it is that we understand, they don't understand.
Yeah.
I see one of your audience is saying that, right?
Oh, so B Noise brings up a point now. So I asked the GOA guys. I go, look, if the GOA got as big as the NRA, aren't they just going to turn into the NRA, as corrupt as they are? And they swore up and down. No, I was talking to John Crump, and he's like, "No, they'll never do it. They'll never do it." I'm like, "Do they have checks and balances in place? I mean, how is that going to work?"
I don't know. I don't think that I wouldn't like to see. I believe in diversification, right? So,
Mm.
and what I mean by that, decentralization. So I would like to see that we have like about 10 strong pro Second Amendment organizations, including GOA. Instead of right now, what we have right now at this moment, we have one that has a lot of money. That's the NRA. And the others are way, way, way behind. The NRA is from number one going all the way down to like number 20, and everyone else is under them on the pyramid, right? The
Yeah.
NRA has the most, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. So I would rather see like let's put a number. Let's say it was $200 million every year that these guys had. I would rather see 10 organizations that have $20 million.
Right.
You know, and I'm not trying to knock the GOA. They get my money. I support them all the time, but I don't necessarily want one company to get everything because yes, that is always the fear that if this company is getting all the money, it gets like right now, those guys are great. They really mean this. They're really in it. They're, the folks working there could work in other places and make more money and do more stuff for sure. But I would say that we need We need diversification.
100%. Benoist had a great analogy. The NRA is
Mhm.
the gym membership that people still pay monthly but no longer go to the gym.
Yeah, right on.
That's 100%. That's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah,
I like that. That's funny.
yeah. That's that's what it is, man. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen though. If you ask me to predict the future, I predict the NRA will stay and keep going. The only people we cannot take them down. The only people that can take them down is maybe New York State or something like that.
What about
And
their
I don't
board
want that.
members? Can't those board members vote Wayne out and clean house?
No, the NRA basically belongs to Wayne LaPierre. It looks like a civil rights organization on the outside, and but the reality is it belongs to him. It's more like a union. I used to be a Teamster. Um, a long time ago, and it's more like that. Teamsters are basically just uh, fronts for the mafia,
Yeah, I've seen
right?
some movies.
Especially in New York. I'm telling you this, it's legit. I was a Teamster for some time. So NRA is like that. Wayne LaPierre, the people who can do anything at NRA are all his friends. He's put them all into position. They have access to the money and stuff like that. Nothing can be done about him. He's like Putin in Russia. Putin is really in charge. It doesn't matter who they move around and like, oh, this is the prime minister, this is the
Right.
president, or whatever nonsense they do. It's all Putin.
Yeah.
That's what it
Unfortunately.
is. Yeah. So the only thing that could be done is burn it down.
Yeah. So what car are you driving now? You still have the R8? Is it a V10?
Yes, it's a V10. Yeah, I still have an R8. I don't drive it as much. It was my daily driver. The van is more like my daily driver these days.
So why did you get a van and start traveling around? Because when I heard that you do your so all your shows are out of the van.
Yes. Every now and then, if I have to, I'm forced to do something. I might do it out of someone's house if that's the only place that the internet is. But basically, yes, out of the van. I did it because I was spending a lot of money to have an office/studio space, and I wasn't necessarily always there. And when I wasn't there, I was paying for something that I wasn't using. And then the other thing is, traveling by plane now is the worst thing in the world.
100%.
So I don't want to do it. I've been doing it since I was 5 years old, but I mean, I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I thought, it's easier for me to just drive myself places, and I could stop. It takes longer, but I have more control over it. So
Yeah. Well,
that's
heck,
why I
man,
did that.
I hate to keep you on any longer. I know it's late, especially you're on the East Coast. It's what 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
Past 11.
on the East Coast, I don't know what time is it. Let me see.
And
Oh
this
yeah,
is
we're
your
after
second
11.
show. You already did
Yeah.
almost 3 hours on the other one.
Yeah, we did at least 2 hours over there. But I mean, you came on my show, you took your time, man, and I want to, make sure that I come on. I
Well, I still got a
appreciate
million questions, but I'll save that
you can.
for next
Yeah,
time.
man. I will do this again, man. I really like what you do. I like your attitude and all that kind of stuff, and I like to see folks like you coming into the game, man. Some people might not like that, but I like to see all the new, fresh blood coming into this thing and changing it and lifting it up and making it better.
Well, for me, it's like, hey, there's people that wanted to YouTube as a career. I can't do that. I make plenty of money on my real job. To me, this is just for me to kind of give back. And anything I get from the channel, I give it out. I mean, you should see my raffles I do at my meet and greets, man. It's sick. Give out
cool.
sick Romeo 5s. I mean, I give out tons of ammo.
Sweet.
We have a really good time. And
yeah.
For me, it's just so I can give back. I want to build a local community in Houston. I encourage everyone else to build your local community. Because if the grid ever goes down, I don't wear a tinfoil hat most of the time, but if they ever really wanted to silence you, those local networks are the only things you're going to have. So you have to build that local network.
Yeah, eventually we're going to have to get back to the basics here in America
100%.
after the break. Yeah, I don't see a big apocalypse coming, but stuff's going to have to break.
Well, hyperinflation, if that hits, it could get real ugly real quick. And, people...
And it will. Everyone forgot about the 80s. I'm telling you, I came here. The 80s was rough for America, but it seems like Maybe people weren't here. Maybe people forgot about it. Things are too good now.
Right.
It was rough times, even in a place like New York City that sees itself and possibly is the center of the world. It was rough.
They do. New Yorkers. Well, I think Hollywood thinks they're the center of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's a toss up. It's a toss up between those.
It is.
Two.
Yeah, but it was rough, and people forgot that times could be rough, and they could be rough again. And I think we're headed for that because ultimately we can't keep printing money, and everyone can't stay home and not work, and all the stuff that's happening is just not sustainable. And we're gonna at some point run into the wall, and and people are gonna have to wake up from
Right,
that
100%.
before things start to get better. So everyone, it's not the end of the world. Just be prepared for it. Just be ready. And that's what I'm trying to do in my own way of like still doing my thing. And, this is what I do. I don't have another thing that I do. And if I can't do the gun thing, then I'll just be all into making some kind of content because it's who I am. But I'm preparing for that as well, like realizing, hey, at some point we're going to run into this wall. And I just want to be okay and get through that because there's also out of that will come opportunity.
So let me ask you a question. This is my last question of the night.
Mm-hmm.
The average price of 9mm in a store is about $20.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, in your opinion, it'll ever get below $14 again?
I would say not anytime soon. It's possible that it will, but I think we have to see the pendulum swing. So the political pendulum swings in America, and right now it has swung to the left, right? So if
far left,
if it's heavy over to the left, we're not going to see that, just because of what these guys are doing and how everyone is perceiving that. I think, we get a swing back to the right and they get out of manufacturers' ways and all that kind of stuff, then all of a sudden there'll be a surplus. But right now with everything going on, man, everyone is worried and everyone is buying guns and buying ammo, and people, because they couldn't get stuff, they're still stacking it. So as long as everyone's stacking it, no. When there's a glut in the system, then we'll see that. But do you think we're going to see a glut under these like political pressures that we have right now?
Well, locally in Houston, you can go out and get 9mm. It's, I see it stacking up in stores now. It's still really expensive, but you see a lot of 9mm. You see a lot of 45. The hunting calibers are coming back. I was at a range on the weekend and they had pallets of 308 for like $18, $19 a box. So some of those prices are coming down. Nationally, no, but like I said, in Houston, I think by Christmas time it'll come down to like $14, $15.
Well, so the thing is that because of all the ramp up of manufacturing, the companies have expenses. So there has to be that glut. Even in Houston, you have to run into that glut before they load. Like they bought facilities, they got more land, they got more production space, warehouses, whatever, bought more materials. They're paying out front. They're paying for years for materials and things like that up front, right?
Well, the
They're
big brand
machinery.
The big brand that Monarch, the Academy carries is Monarch, and that's from overseas. So they bring in truckloads of that. Containers full of that stuff as much as they can, and they don't ship it out to their other DSOs because it's cheaper to sell it locally.
Yeah,
but it's starting to stack up to where 5.56, 223 is stacking up locally to where you can go any time of the day, and the shelves are full.
Okay, so that might be an opportunity for people, but I would say if you see that, it might be a buying opportunity, because what if these guys hit imports? That's an easy thing for them to hit.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't do that. That's so simple.
They just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, that would cripple. So that would cripple. All that cheap ammo would go the way of the wind.
Yeah, I hope they don't do it. Listen, I want ammo to be cheap.
Yeah,
I want ammo to be cheap. I don't necessarily see it yet. I think we really need to see it all stacking. Like in the past, we saw where people overbuilt ARs, and then they had too many ARs, and then prices came down to $300. You could get an AR.
Yeah,
right?
that was bananas. The golden times.
Yeah, so we have to see that happen where everyone stacks ammo and stack guns. But what we've been seeing is that they're just selling everything that they're making. The companies out there are still selling everything they're making. So we have to see, like what you're saying, that stuff is not getting bought. Then
Yeah.
you know that that you've reached saturation. Now there's the market can't absorb that. They can't absorb that ammo anymore, and it's sitting in the stores. Now the companies are sitting on that for too long and not getting their money back out of it, and then they get desperate and they cut prices. And anything political could affect that.
Yeah, I ran into a lot of people that had guns that would just buy ammo as they on the way to the range. They never stockpile. I ran into a bunch of people that kept maybe a box at home.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of those gun people, along with all the new gun people, are just buying. I mean, 1,000 rounds per gun is a minimum.
Yeah, because people have a better education of what's going on than in the past years. So when it comes to that stuff, it's easy still enough for them to go, oh yeah, not only should I get this gun, I need to get enough ammo. So the point is when do not us, not the guys like us, when does the casual person buying these guns stop? When do they start? Remember when everyone in the Fire Armageddon of 2013, people were paying for $1,000 AR, they're paying $3,000. Then 6 months later, they were trying to sell that, and the pawn shop was like, "No, we'll give you $400 for it."
Yeah, I remember that. People were buying it like crazy. It was nuts.
We need that again. We need that again for this to end. When you see that, that's your indicator that, oh, okay.
Right. So everyone in the chat, if you're in the chat, please hit the thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please consider subscribing. I'd greatly appreciate it. I just put Mr. Hank Strange's YouTube link in the chat. Please click his channel and subscribe. He is the godfather of the gun podcast. That's fair to say.
Okay.
He doesn't have a pimp cane yet. That's what you need. You need a pimp cane with a little gold gun on top.
Man. Yeah, someone make that for me.
Lola, please.
I'll write that. No, Lola will never do it. She'll never do it. I'll get too out of control with that,
FYI, Armament X says Hank's a dork.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's my kind of dork. He's my kind of dork.
Yeah, listen, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you actually supporting me. I see you come into our chat, and spend time in there. You've been on the show. I think I
always watch it the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. That's pretty cool. And we need to figure out some ways that we can all help each other in this thing. And I'm knocking it around in my head, and I'm open to suggestions, but we all need to come up with some kind of way. We need to make some kind of network or something where we can all talk to each other and figure out how to help each other through this. At least the ones of us who want to work together, and I know it's the kind of thing that you're interested in, and I appreciate that in you, so.
Yeah. Cause I figured, if gun people, unfortunately, are very private people, and they need to knock that shit off and start making friends. Build your local network, talk to people each day. If you're standing in line for ammo, talk to the guy next to you, exchange numbers. And, I've met some crazy people, and I've had the best time. I've met some of the best people this last 6 months. I wouldn't change it for the world.
No, man. And if we start using our power, they can't get rid of us.
100%. But
but we just don't want to do it. We're so paranoid and we're so scared and worried about it or whatever, which I get, right? Not everyone has to be the front men. You and I might be the front men, but honestly, people need support to keep doing this. It takes money, regardless of whether or not you do this for money, man. At some point, you're going to have to make choices, right? To do this better, to grow and all that, it takes some kind of support that you need to do that. And I think people need to realize that there's a thing in the gun world where they want us all to be monks. I think they don't care if we've got millions of dollars worth of guns, but we can't have anything else. And I think it's a wrong thinking that's leading to bad things. We need to support each other in this, especially when you see that the people who traditionally before we relied on, the politicians, the organizations like NRA, when you realize you can't trust them, you still need someone out there speaking for you, getting the message out and
100%.
Playing different parts. So support those people. Even if it's not me, support them.
Yeah, couldn't have said it any better myself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Tell Lola I said good night, and
we'll do.
Try. I'll send you the date for that Tulsa Arms Show. It is bananas. If you go to this gun show, everything's for sale. It'll ruin you for any other gun show.
Okay, I'll think about it.
30,
you know, at some point,
it's
I'll let you
between
do something
37
like
and 4,000 tables.
that. Wow.
That's a lot. You got to go all 3 days.
I don't know if I'm even ready for that, but yeah, it's cool.
What I can do is I can get you in on the setup day too. So if you and Lola are out there, we'll do Fridays a setup day. I'll get you in. That's when all the backroom deals. That's when all the real deals are made.
We need to do something in the real world, right? We need to make some plans to do something, even if it's not that. We need to make plans to do something in the real world.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing NRA. I can't wait. I'm gonna probably spend a whole week down in Vegas for the.
You're gonna be at SHOT Show? Yeah, we'll see each other there too.
Yeah, it's at February, right?
I think it's January. It could be February this year. It's usually January.
All right, January for sure. I mean, I miss Vegas like crazy. But thank you so much for coming on, everyone.
Thanks,
please like and subscribe to the Hank Strange podcast.